world gone insane. An upside-down civilization cannot be real. A world of madness and terror.
It's the Dana Gould Hour.
Today's show is brought to you by Harry's. Please visit harrys.com and use the promo code DANA to save $5 off your first purchase. Summertime. Hi, everybody, and thanks for tuning in. Thank you all for your patience in between broadcasts. I'm currently working on a couple of things, and I like to take the time it takes to do things right, and I get to the stuff when I can, and I have, and now here it is. So thanks. That said, this show has been worth the wait. It is composed of two separate interviews. The first, a live performance at the Doug Fir Lounge in Portland, Oregon, during the Bridgetown Comedy Festival. That interview features Arden Myrin, Steve Agee, and Baron Vaughn. To know what they're up to, follow them on the Twitter at their names. Except for Baron Vaughn, whose Twitter handle is at BARVONBLAQ. Why don't you follow him and then DM him and ask him why his handle's so confusing? The second interview was recorded right here at Falcon's Lair Recording Studios, high atop Mulholland Drive, in sunny and parched Southern California. That interview features Nicole Powers. She is the co-host of Suicide Girls Radio. She's on the Twitter at Nicole Powers. April Richardson of Stage and Screen. You can follow her at Apey. And finally, Alison Rosen herself. Alison Rosen herself. You know Alison. Follow her at Alison Rosen. And enjoy her podcast, Alison Rosen is your new best friend. Also joining us, thanks to John Ennis, is Johnny Condon, Robbie Sullivan, and a host of others. But now, let's do it. And by it, I mean this.
It's showtime.
Tune in, it's a gas. It's the Dana Gould Hour podcast.
The Dana Gould Hour. Free. And worth it.
Thank you very much. The Dana Gould Hour, never an hour. It's never been. Thank you very much for coming down. I've been in the business a goodly share of my life, and people often ask me, they'll say to me, "Oh, yeah, you're good. But you'll never perform in the basement of that place with the biscuits." How wrong you are. You should get those soft contacts. They're a lot quieter when they fall out. Professional. Heckle me right now, you. Heckle me. That's unkind. And sorry, I'm from Boston, where comedy was like a combat. You literally have to interrupt a rape. I know you're raping. I just want to finish this bit, and please. It better be funny. That is. Don't make fun of Reagan. No. I love Reagan. Now I know what you're saying. Rape jokes aren't funny. Rape jokes and Reagan jokes are funny, and they're both taking something from people that you shouldn't have to take from them. You can laugh at a rape joke. It's just not about the rape. I'm sure you know this joke of mine. You know, when you think about it, any whistle can be a rape whistle. Except maybe a slide whistle. Help! Please! Someone's raping a clown down at the birthday party. Have you ever wanted to rape a clown? So you follow him to his car and he gets in and you end up having to rape like 40 clowns? I know what you're saying. Sure, Dana. But we're here in Oregon. Don't you have any wilderness humor? Yes, I do. They say if you're attacked by a bear, the thing you're supposed to do is make yourself look as physically imposing as you possibly can, yet speak very soothingly. The trial and error that went into figuring that out is a tale written in blood. Bring in the next guy, Maresy Dotes and Dozy Dotes and Little Amsy Dot. All right, don't sing pop songs from the 30s. Does not help with bears. But the joke's on bears. Bears all walk around thinking that we all walk around with shit in our pants. Because everyone they've ever caught the fact that we can hold in our shit is our big secret from bears. And I'm tired of holding in this show. So let's bear down and grind it out, shall we? Thank you very much. We have 3 guests today, one of them a human woman. My first guest is a very good friend of mine I've known for a very long time, and he has a new show on Netflix. It's entitled Grace and Frankie on Netflix. Please welcome Baron Vaughn.
Zanzibar.
Our next guest is my oft-times comedy partner. In fact, we will be doing a show this evening at Norse Hall. For those of you who are a fan of untouched 1940s interior design and architecture, of which I am. I can almost feel my parents hitting me. It brings back so many memories. Fans of Mad TV may remember her, but to me, I'm a fan of her because she once shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. Please welcome Arden Myrin.
Thank you. I'm wearing a very Portland crop top. It's like it's the least sexy crop top to ever be. Dana and I went shopping and this happened.
We went to a vintage clothing store, and Arden bought a vintage dress that was owned by a now dead hottie.
This might be a miss. I'm testing it in Portland.
No, that's not a miss.
Okay, all right. Okay, thanks, Dana.
You should be smoking a cigarette and looking angrily at Don Draper.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. That's my average Sunday night. John Hamm. My favorite thing on TMZ ever was John Hamm's dick is taking him out for a walk. Because he never wears underpants. And he always wears like rayon pants that shows his like massive sausage ween that just walks him around New York City. Hello, Portland.
Yeah.
Good cocktail hour.
Massive sausage ween was my nickname in high school.
Hello.
Thank God women don't like that.
Do you have 3 inches of twisted fury?
Yeah. So many times I've been moved. Where's the elbow? Speaking of cocks with an elbow, our next guest is quite literally one of my favorite people on earth. He was on the Sarah Silverman program. You can see him on The New Girl, and he is quite simply effortlessly hilarious. Please welcome the lovely and talented Steve Agee.
Yes, Steve Agee. Yes. The microphone is set up for your dong with the elbow.
For those of you listening at home, I would describe Steve Agee as a gentle giant.
Thank you.
Like Stalin.
It's great to be here, everybody. Thanks for coming out to the Doug Fir Lounge.
Come closer, Steve Agee.
Yeah. Just before you start, while you were out here doing your jokes, Dana, I was
routine?
I was standing in the wings on the other side of the stage, and Arden saw me and started freaking out and acting weird to try and make me laugh, I guess. But I was like, you realize there's people right there that... Did you guys see that? Yeah, I knew it.
I wanted to pretend I was having a baby. It was like...
Out of her butt. She was... But she...
That's how babies happen, right?
Yeah.
You know what a butt baby is called? That's called a Chipotle child.
Oh, my God. True story.
That's true. That's in the Urban Dictionary now. Chipotle child is when you eat a Chipotle and then have a big old BM.
Well, if it's in the Urban Dictionary, it's real.
Yeah. Stephen, now you are from where, Stephen? Agee?
Riverside, California,
Right,
Dana.
you're from God's country.
I feel like you're in
I'm
trial
from all over.
Arden, you're from Rhode
Wherever I
Island.
lay my head is my home.
I am from I'm from Little Compton, Rhode Island.
Right.
True story.
That's not a real thing.
It's real.
Yeah, it is.
It's real. It's
Little
a little
Compton?
It's like Compton, but little.
It's adorable. There's little tiny gangs.
It's
So
like-
you're
yeah.
straight out of Little Compton.
There's fishermen. I'm straight out of Little Compton. Deal with it. That's
It's
how I
just
got
like-
so street. You can't wear an outfit like this with
Yeah.
rickrack on it if you're not from Compton.
It's
I
just
could.
like the Compton in L.A., except all white and upper middle class.
Exactly.
And Baron, where are you from?
A misbegotten place called Las Vegas, Nevada.
You're from Las
Shut
Vegas.
up. That's
Yeah.
exciting.
Born and raised.
Well, born in New Mexico, but raised in Las Vegas. Nevada.
Really? Now, what is it like to get... Were your parents magicians or magician's assistants?
Well, to be honest, my stepdad was a magician because his gambling problem made the rent disappear every month.
Hey.
Yes.
Great to be back at the Doug Fir.
Nothing but net on that one. That was
Yeah.
straight in.
He's gonna listen to this. In his trailer.
All you needed for that joke to work is a lit cigarette and then for it to be 1966.
Yes. And to be Estelle Parsons at the same time. I knew you would get that one.
What's it like growing up in Las Vegas, Nevada?
Incredibly boring. Jim Gaffigan once told me telling someone I'm from Vegas is like telling someone I'm from Disneyland.
Yeah, I get it, yeah.
But it's boring because I was 8. You know, like you can't
Sure.
do anything in Vegas when you're 8. Although it is the balmy degrees of 120 every fucking day.
Yeah, Kevin Rooney calls it chicken pot pie weather. It's like when you open up an oven in the middle of a chicken pot pie and you just get that blast of dry heat.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Eyebrows. No, that's a
Exactly.
fart, Arden.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just said Chipotle.
That's like when you share a studio apartment with your dad the summer he separates from your mom.
Oh, my God. You know, my dad...
And it's just 3 months of heat and beer farts.
My dad, one of my favorite... My dad is a surly man, but one of his
Right.
best bits...
And by the way, your father, who has diabetes,
Oh, yeah.
but still eats sugar,
Oh, yeah.
because he feels that it is the Marine family tradition that it is shameful to die with all of your toes.
True story. He's flaunting that. But he does a bit where he will just he walks around always in boxers, as you should.
Yeah.
When you're built like a baby, but
You can't- well,
but
you-
you're 65 years old and a CPA, and he just rips farts from dusk till dawn. And my mom's name is Janet, and even if she's like in a different state, he'll go, Janet. Classic. He blames that on her. Oh, it always makes me laugh. It's funny.
Here's my dad's favorite bit, aside from the summer of 1979 fog of barefoots and seeing Alien 4 times. There was in our town of the Hopedale, Massachusetts, the world's most ironically named town. There was a mentally disabled gentleman, or as we would call him at the time, the town retard.
It's Massachusetts, you guys. You got to forgive it. It's not Portland.
You're either a queer or you're a retard or you haven't been born yet. So just deal with it.
And in Rhode Island, you might even be a queertod.
Yeah, you could
it
be a
was both.
queertod.
You're such a fucking queertod, Auden.
Yeah, a queertod is a guy who dates women. Look at that guy. That queer's so retarded. He's with a girl.
Yeah.
No, he's just a person. But Our town mentally disabled person was named Harry Miller. And Harry Miller.
That's the funny part to you.
I love that. That's a great name.
Head shaped like a canned ham, and his job was to mow the lawns at the cemetery, which is a frustrating job to give somebody who's totally compos mentis, because you have to stop every 6 or 7 feet for a large slab of marble. So he could never build up a head of steam.
Isn't that what the Yellow King did in True Detective?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, we all know how that ended.
But every time we would drive around town and see Harry Miller, who would just basically walk around town all the time when he wasn't mowing the lawn, my dad would say to my mother, "There's your boyfriend."
That's classic Massachusetts late last century humor, probably still happening today.
Anybody from Massachusetts, if you were elected president, when you called your parents and said, "I just won, I'm the president," they go, "Don't shit yourself."
Yeah. Oh, you think you're better than us? Okay, Barack.
Yeah, exactly. They don't let you build up a big head of steam.
No.
It's a beautiful, calm and balmy summer night here in Los Angeles, California, high in the Hollywood Hills at Falcon Lair recording. I'm in a sea of estrogen. I am surrounded by what I like to call the estro geniuses. My first guest is the host of SG Radio. You might know it as Suicide Girls Radio, if that is what it is properly called. She is the editor of Reset Me. Please welcome activist and ghost tweeter, and we will find out what that is, Nicole Powers.
This is the sound of my voice.
Wow. You are one hot-sounding female impersonator. Also, on the dais, she travels the country performing her stand-up comedy show. She plays the circuit. She does her routine on the circuit. You can often find her opening for the Nerdist himself, Chris Hardwick. And she appears this month on True TV's How to Be a Grown-Up. And next month, she'll be touring In Pursuit of Morrissey, which is something many women do as part of Operation Fruitless Task. Please welcome April Richardson.
Hi, this is the sound of my voice.
Lastly, and certainly not leastly, taking time out from her own busy schedule with her own megally, you heard me, megally as an acromegaly, successful podcast, Alison Rosen is your new best friend. Please welcome the lovely and talented former guitar player for the Angoras, Alison Rosen.
I'm Alison, and this is the sound of my voice.
Nicole, what is a ghost tweeter?
It's kind of like a ghost writer, but you do it in 140 characters or less.
Now, ghost writers famously write for other people who then publish a book under their own name. Mm-hmm. Let's say you're a comedian who seems to be very busy, but you also write a book a year. Mm-hmm. No, you don't. It is sort of like that, but for Twitter.
It's for Twitter, but except you have to kind of tweet more than once a year.
Right.
So that's kind of basically the key difference between ghost writing and ghost tweeting is you do it a bit more, but it's kind of a bit shorter.
Who needs someone to tweet for them? Is it like Doritos? Because sometimes you get that like with...
That's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
Doritos.
No, product tweets?
Yes. Products having Twitter profiles is my favorite thing.
Another great day for Hormel ham.
Yeah. Where they have to engage the customers. I'm sorry, I'm just like totally interrupting you, but I swear to God, I'm like obsessed with it.
Yeah, I love
people
it.
Are like tied as like, how was your weekend? You know what I mean? You're like, what? I guess I did some laundry. Is that what you want to hear?
Yeah. They know you're saying this right now. That's how good they're saying.
Yeah, totally, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Monday after
you will
Coachella.
receive a tweet.
Yeah, Monday after Coachella must be a tied kind of day.
Yeah.
How about that modern music? ? I actually got a junk email yesterday from this place I buy. It's a nice company. It's called Fine Art America, and you can get photographers file their stuff in there. But then I get this subject line: "Ah, yeah, tote bags."
I love it. I love the personification of stuff like that, like crackers having nip cheese. Yeah, snack on us, right, guys? Like the crackers are typing the tweet.
Put us in your mouth.
Yeah, totally, exactly. Okay,
and it's also stuff that and I want to tweet for companies that is a product that you can't even buy commercially, but they'll still tweet it like, Gen 5, the best canned ham packing gelatin.
And you're like, how am I choosing that?
Yeah. You can only buy it in an air pressurized tank. So who does one tweet for, and how does one... Is this a job you invented?
It kind of like didn't exist when I started tweeting. I sort of got my Twitter account, my first Twitter account in 2008, and I was working at Suicide Girls, and I was actually lucky enough to interview Evan Williams, who was the CEO of Twitter at the time.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, what the fuck is this Twitter? I know I'll actually interview someone who knows a little bit about Twitter. So I interviewed Evan Williams, and he actually gave me, he was a fan of Suicide Girls, and...
why wouldn't he be? He's a dude.
And it kind of cracked me up because, obviously, you're Evan Williams, you're CEO of a company, you've got money. But
I would think if you're Evan Williams, the CEO of Twitter, and you do, like, if you have sex with a girl 9 times a day, it's like, that's it? No, that's it. That's it. Real short. I don't need more than 120 seconds.
Yeah, I'm sure that he does everything very in a manner that's very short and sweet, to the point.
The definition,
exactly.
In and out. Yeah. Short and sweet, in and out.
Hashtag come.
It was kind of sweet. And you get this a lot with celebrities that even though they can like afford to pay for the ticket or pay the entrance fee, they still want to be on the guest list to be special, right? That's like that. Basically, the whole of LA wants to be on a guest list because it makes them feel special.
Right.
So even though like our subscription is the biggest bargain on the planet because it's basically an unlimited smorgasbord of boobs and butts. Like, he was really happy when I offered him a free membership. And
of course.
So someone had been parking on the Suicide Girls Twitter name, and so he was kind enough to facilitate us actually getting our name. So
wow. Oh really?
Yeah.
No, it took me like 5 years to get Dana Gould. I was Dana J. Gould.
Who had Dana Gould?
A guy in Framingham, Massachusetts, which ironically is about 11 minutes from where I grew up. And he was a realtor, and he tweeted 9 times in 2006 or something, or whenever it came out.
Did you have to pay for it?
No, I just, this guy did it, Jeff Fox, our producer.
What? Can you get me verified? What's up?
Oh, no, it took me forever to get verified, too. It took a long time, but this guy made it happen.
Even though Evan made it happen and he knew we were Suicide Girls, we could not get verified. To this day, I don't think Suicide Girls is verified.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah.
Who was parking on it? Just a guy that wanted you to buy it off him?
Like, I don't even know. We never had to deal with them. Like,
I hope not a group of dead girls. That's why we can't get a hold of. They stopped tweeting. Well, unlike your friends, they meant it.
I started tweeting for Suicide Girls, which I absolutely loved. That was, I would rarely sort of tweet for a brand, but tweeting for Suicide Girls was something different. There was the whole thing of following people. People would always beg, can you follow us? Can I follow us? And so I'd be like, following you. And by the way, nice ass. You just were able to use the Suicide Girls Twitter in a way that you couldn't use other Twitter accounts. Like,
sure.
I would get paid to flirt with people, and I fucking love flirting. So I would just spend all day flirting with people, and it was
from the safety of your own home.
Yeah,
you don't have to go out and get Mr. Goodbard at Sky Bar. By the way, 2 candy bar names in one sentence. Sky Bar was also a popular candy bar. It had different look.
No, we want to know.
Sky Bar was a chocolate candy, and it had little squares, and like one was marshmallow, one was caramel, one was nougat.
I want one. Do they still make them?
It's like a variety bar.
Yeah, exactly. Just like the real Sky Bar. You can meet creeps of every orientation. Yeah, Suicide Girls becomes a brand, and then you start tweeting for that. But somehow then you branch out,
right? Because Suicide.
And I want to go back to the Suicide Girls, the origin of that name and how you came to work with them.
Right.
Because ironically, you don't look like a suicide girl, and I don't mean that because you're alive. I mean that because you're not tattooed.
Right.
You've new tattoos.
But it's actually sort of more a state of mind and an idea of sort of committing social suicide from the mainstream, however you choose to do that.
Is that what it stands for?
I sort of do that with my very peculiar ideas, and some people do that more with permanently marking their body.
It's social suicide.
Mm-hmm, from the mainstream.
It's sort of a rejection of the mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. And it comes from
I admire that. And it comes from what?
Chuck Palahniuk novel called Survivor.
Okay.
And so that's kind of where the term comes from. But, Suicide Girls was actually a social network that predates MySpace, Friendster, and Facebook. So we had a community of uber geeks. I mean, there was on Twitter when it first started was like originally sort of populated by uber geeks too. Mm-hmm. So, you had people like Will Wheaton that were, sort of some of the most followed people on Twitter. And, there was like this shift and there was this moment in time where sort of like the geeks ruled the world. And then there was just this moment in time when Britney Spears was like the number one most followed person on Twitter. And that was the point when us geeks were kind of knew that the halcyon days of Twitter were over because the Britney Spears and then the Justin Biebers and the Taylor Swifts took over.
Yeah. Oh, and then what's his name became the king of Twitter? The guy that was married to Demi Moore.
Ashton Kutcher. Right.
I swear to God, for a second, I was like, Bruce Willis is on Twitter? I was like, oh, I've never seen that.
I did Real Time with Bill Maher with Ashton Kutcher and with Brad Pitt. Mm-hmm. And Brad Pitt was the first guest and Ashton Kutcher was the second guest. And Ashton Kutcher could not be seen until Brad Pitt left.
What? Did they like hate each other?
No, because he didn't want to be
seen next to each other.
He didn't want to be the number 2 dude.
Whoa.
Ththese guys take
What about
it very
old Dana
seriously.
J. Gould? How did they feel about you?
Well, they were outraged that I didn't manscape. That was the beginning of it. I can't go away. That's the problem with me. It's quite the opposite.
That's why I wouldn't even want to stay somewhere like the Mondrian with a sky bar where you have to like get dressed before you can go downstairs to reception to ask for a hairdryer. Like who would want the trauma of that?
I agree completely. I've never had that problem, by the way, of worrying how I look when I leave. A lot of times
we get that.
A lot of times people see me and they go, "Hey, you found a place."
You're just relatable.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? Because there's something that's been standing out to me.
This is neither the time nor the place.
No.
How do you know that Nicole does not have any tattoos?
Oh, no, I asked her on SG Radio.
There you go.
I'm actually needle phobic.
Oh.
Like when they give me sort of injections or have to take blood, they actually have to sedate me and they have to give me double the normal level. So I'm spiritually tattooed, but like my
daughter Alice can't be around a needle. Because I'm always chasing the kids around the house with a wide variety of needles.
I've been like the road runner at hospitals where like I've needed to have something done. I'm like, I can do it. No, I can't. And you just would not see me for dust. I would literally sprint out the door.
I was like that for the longest time. Like hearing that I would have to have blood drawn, I began to panic and I would feel uncomfortable for a couple days. And even I would have to lay down and I would get faint. And I only recently got over it because I'm trying to get pregnant and doing IVF, which is a whole festival of needles.
That's not how you're going.
That does involve a little prick.
Hey!
Thank you so much.
Make that work.
Anyway, yeah, so I just recently got over my needle phobia. I feel like I could get it back at any moment.
I think it's kind of a good phobia to have, staying away from hospitals. Yeah.
Do you guys want to look at the gnarly bruise I have from giving blood the other day?
You give blood?
Is it still green? It was like super gross and green.
This is a sentence I rarely get to say, so I want to say it. April, tell me that funny story about how you went blind.
Well, it is hilarious. I had LASIK surgery last week and I did not heal correctly. And it was the worst week of my entire life. And I had a mental breakdown because I thought I for real was just going to be blind in my right eye for the rest of my life from elective surgery that I chose to have because I was like, I'm kind of annoyed wearing glasses. Yeah, but it is thankfully healing now. But basically, yeah, I've had to wear glasses since I was like 6, and I have like really poor eyesight. And all my friends, my stepdad, who's old as hell, had LASIK, and it totally healed fine on his old ass eyeballs. And so all my friends that have had it are like, oh, it's the greatest. Like I had LASIK, and I woke up the next day, and I saw perfectly, and it's the best thing ever invented. And it took me forever to get over the concept of having surgery on your eyeballs is like the creepiest thing of all time.
I can't imagine. It's like a horror movie with like your head strapped in a thing and the needle coming towards your eyeball. And
no, that's the only thing.
Are you conscious during the surgery?
Yeah, you have to be.
Now we should just say for the listenership, you are not blind.
I'm not blind.
I have your left eye vision is great.
Yes.
Your right eye vision is
coming back
is flirting. Your right eye vision is flirting with you, not unlike Nicole Powers on Twitter.
Well, the thing is I like about 11 or 12 years ago, when my stepdad had it, it was all only blades were involved. So I went and had the eye exam that you have to have. The preliminary eye exam is like really thorough. And so I had this like 4-hour all-inclusive thing. And when I was waiting in the waiting room to make the appointment, in the waiting room, they showed a video of the procedure, which until that point, I didn't know included a blade. So as soon as I saw that video, I went into the doctor and he's like, when can I make your appointment? And I was like, how about the 12th of never?
Yeah.
I am never coming back to do this.
Was this Dr. Chandelier?
Exactly. That's all I could think about when I saw the video. Totally slicing my eyeballs, Pixie style. So I was like, yeah, this is never, ever happening. Flash forward to now. And
that's the name of your album.
To now when I have vision.
A one-eyed journey with April Richardson.
Well, and now it's bladeless. It's all laser, so nothing touches your eyeball.
If you're going to call yourself LASIK, it should be based around lasers.
You do have to have a flap cut in your eyeball.
That's the thing. There's the flap cut. And they flip your eyeball inside out, right?
No, they don't do that. What happened before
Wait a minute. Let's just all think of that sentence for a moment. They do have to cut a flap into your eyeball.
Cut your eyeball.
And how do they numb your eyeball? I would just think
drops.
you're watching porn for 5 hours. It's just nothing can happen anymore.
It's just drops. Before, the flap would be cut with a blade. Whereas now, and then a laser would reshape your eyeball. There was always lasers involved.
Here's what I think about that procedure. I live in a state where there might be earthquakes.
Yes! I totally thought that. I truly did think that.
What if at the last minute, worst time ever,
or even someone sneezes.
The Rock cannot save you.
First of all, I completely, really did think of that. Not only was I like, a blade is never touching my eyeball. Yes, I was like, what about the human error in a human being holding a blade to my eyeball? So I was like, that's never happening ever, ever, ever. So, recent events, I had 2 ex-boyfriends, weirdly, within the same month, call me going, I just had all laser LASIK. It's amazing. I woke up the next day with perfect vision. It's so great. So,
see, when I call my ex-girlfriend, it's usually, hey, if I could drive within 500 feet of your house, it could save me 5 hours today on my errands. Nope, still okay.
Thankfully, I'm
Not
friendly.
true.
I'm totally friendly with mine.
I am too.
So Andy, he went to the doctor that I went to, and he was like, yeah, it was all lasers. It was easy peasy, no big deal. So when I did hear there's no blade involved, that was the only time I even would consider it. I'm like, okay, I'll at least go for the thing.
Instead, it's a laser beam.
The craziest part, so I go and like...
And there's a lot of crazy parts to this.
There's a lot of crazy parts.
Including the glasses.
Yeah, I'm wearing sunglasses indoors now because I'm still light sensitive. So I go get the preliminary exam again. The doctor is super cool, super nice, chill dude. And I'm terrified of this. He's like, oh, it's cool. We give you Valium. You do get Valium beforehand, so you're like real chill. And I'm the biggest pussy on the planet. I don't watch horror movies. I'm the most easily scared person.
Can I just interrupt? I know guys will often brag about the size of their dicks. I don't see why women brag about...
It's really huge, dude. I'm terrified of everything. Like, I'm so terrified. But the surgery part of it was actually not bad. As soon as it was over, I was like, that was not a big deal. The weirdest part, because you don't feel anything, and because it's all lasers, like nothing touches your eyeball, it's just
but you are conscious.
You're totally conscious, but it's like an out-of-body experience. It's honestly trippy.
That's the opposite of getting laid. Steve, your dad funny at all?
Nope.
Okay, then.
No, he's a doctor.
Your dad's a funny doctor?
He's retired. He's retired.
Your dad's retarded? Your dad's a retarded doctor? That's fantastic.
That's amazing.
My dad, yes. Henry Miller Agee.
Yes. I came in here with gallstones, and you sewed a tennis ball in my thigh. Now dogs like your legs.
No sense of humor.
Really? Do you have siblings? You must have had siblings.
Yeah, none with senses of humor.
What about
how
your mom?
many of them?
Then how did you get
47.
to be...
47.
Did you have a bully older brother?
I have an older brother. He's not a bully, though.
He didn't pin you down and fart in your face?
No, and then go...
What about your mom, though? Is your mom funny?
A little bit, yeah.
Oh, that's where the seed was planted.
Bing. Well, yeah, that's his mom.
But you guys didn't see the satisfaction that Dana looked at me when he said that. He looked at me like, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I'm right. But that reminds me of something I wanted to talk about today. I was at a party recently, and got booed for moving my mouth when someone mentioned Bruce Jenner. Someone mentioned the Bruce Jenner-Diane Sawyer interview, and I went... And 3 women went, don't! So you can't even acknowledge him now. And as I've said at the time, it was only 7 weeks ago that we all just thought he was creepy. Everybody just thought he was a guy that had too much plastic surgery, and then overnight he became a guy that hadn't had enough yet. And now we get to give him all of the privacy and dignity that his family is so famous for craving. But my thesis was, can you be progressive and not give a shit? Which is basically my attitude. And how do you stay ahead of the curve? I was at a little farmer's market in Los Angeles, and there was a little 4-year-old boy crying. So I said to him, are you okay? Have you lost your mom? And he went, I have 2 dads! I'm like, well, fuck me. I didn't get your dossier. And
dossier.
I wish you got dossier.
And I had to bite my tongue from saying, boy, you did lose your mom. But it's we are really in a time of accelerated social change, and it's hard to even stay ahead of the curve and be supposedly socially acceptable. Like, I don't have any observations about Bruce Jenner that are about him as a person. It's all about people's reactions to him. And coming from a family that is brutally pimping themselves out. When the fappening occurred and Jennifer Lawrence's nude pictures went up on the internet, the Kardashians were so distraught that their pictures weren't in that batch, that there were photos of them nude that hadn't been released yet, sent them into a panic. I just found it interesting that suddenly it's like we have to go to that place to put up the wall of privacy all of a sudden. And have you guys ever found yourselves in positions where you are towing the line that you think is the proper line and you find like, no, you're in the wrong on this too. You're not even there yet.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, I think that we're in a time where tolerance has become tantamount to calling others out for being intolerant.
Right, yeah. And there's nothing wrong with being intolerant. I take it to a totally terrible place.
Yeah.
Whoa.
If you're intolerant...
I'm glad we've all gathered here in this basement where we can speak freely.
You take one K away from the Klan and it's just KK.
Which a lot of people text if they're running late. Yeah, exactly.
Look, they're ghosts, all right? First of all, the Klan are just ghosts. That's why they dress like that. So leave them alone. They've already died. They want to hate black people and look like Casper.
And they're definitely dead inside. Mm-hmm.
Aren't we all? This is how we get into comedy.
Yeah.
Taking the brave anti-Klan stance, Baron Vaughn.
Yeah.
Fuck those guys.
Oh, yeah.
I've been
putting his balls on the cutting board.
I've been to the Klan's website a couple times.
My daughter had to go on the Klan's website because she's doing a civil rights
do they have
segment
merch?
in school. No,
I bet they do.
I will tell you.
I bet they do.
They don't have merch, but they do have a poetry section.
And it's free to join. Yeah. And it's free to join.
If you meet the requirements. Very strict.
Write an essay. Exactly.
I was in Spain last year, and there were all these stores that were selling figurines that looked awful clanny. They were like purple pointy hats.
Yeah,
like,
purple's not the color. Except for the Grand Dragon.
Right. That's the only wizard that you don't want to meet. Like, who wouldn't want to meet a wizard?
I would love the wizards meeting where it's this Gandalf and Dumbledore and then the Grand Wizard of the Clan. They're like,
I believe that magic will rule the land and purge the dragons that plague us, and I hate the nigger. Hey.
Whoa.
When I was in college, I went to college in Colorado, and it was like as soon as I showed up, I knew it was a mistake, and there were all these dudes like having like sword fights with wood swords, and this guy had like a ferret in his room with like 15 locks on his door, and he was Ray, and he was a male witch. Bold call to go a male witch and not just to go wizard or warlock, right?
Yeah, what's wrong with being a warlock?
Also, what fucking college was this?
I couldn't get out of there fast enough. I'm not good at pot.
Yeah.
Well, if you say it like that, definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
I kept trying. I would just take hits off of like I would climb up onto there was the loft guy who would build 12-foot lofts, and I'd climb up and be like, maybe I'll do better if I take a hit from a 15-foot bong. And then I would be throwing up under my rug in a bowl and about to fall into Middle Earth.
I'm so stacked up on Zoloft, you could do surgery on me at any given moment.
You don't feel pain, physical or emotional?
Nothing gets near me anymore. I'm ensconced in emotional bubble wrap. No one better. The Gould family crest is two lions on a couch, not looking at each other, above death before intimacy in Latin.
The worst part is they do put the Clockwork Orange things in your eyes. Does that hurt? It doesn't hurt because your eyeballs are already numb. It's just
that doesn't
annoying.
Make it better.
Yeah. I would need a Klonopin the size of a bear claw.
Well, this one...
and just lick it like a deer at a salt lick.
Another reason I didn't want to have the blade kind is not only because of the blade, but because of that version of it, you're temporarily blind.
Because your eyeballs
black.
are numbs?
No, because
you're numbs. Because you're numbs.
Because
that would be you really trust your doctor, and people have gone to him in the last minute. He says, "All right, now your eyeballs go num nums." Wait a minute.
Hold on. Where's your degree from?
Yeah.
Clown college.
That's the old joke about the gynecologist. I have to numb this up.
By the way, I went to the gynecologist the other day, just for a routine checkup.
Again, bladeless.
Routine checkup. While the lady was doing this stuff, she was like, "Hey, has anyone ever told you Katy Perry?" You mean my face or down there? Do you know what I mean? Both. I was like, oh, I'm so flattered. Either way. So the weird thing. So the blade.
Russell Brand would love your vagina.
Well, that's not. I mean, I think he loves any of them, right? Isn't that his thing?
Yeah, he's kind of not picky, right? Yeah.
I don't think any guy is that picky.
Thank you.
But won't you need to do LASIK again?
I'll never do it again.
But my point is, it's the muscles in your eyes.
Sure.
Over time atrophy.
But it won't be.
That's why
that's happened to my husband.
Yeah,
he had LASIK. He had epi LASIK or something, which is some more
LASIK on his legs, on his leg hair.
Yeah, exactly. Some more intense LASIK. I don't know if your vision's bad enough for some reason they do it somehow differently. I think it did involve a blade, but now he's wearing glasses again. Yeah. But he had a good 10-year run.
Yes, exactly. It won't be for 10 years.
I didn't need glasses until I was in my 40s, and I was kind of glad because it at least gave me something of a look. Before I just looked kind of like a shoe with brown hair.
They have to put moisture on your eyeball while they're doing it. And so there are times where the doctor will brush moisture on your eyeball. But it's the craziest thing because you don't feel it. So you're just looking at it going, oh, that's my eyeball. You're is that happening? I don't know how to explain it other than it's trippy.
Do they talk to you during the procedure?
I told them not to.
I'm going to kill you.
Well, it was funny because the day before when they were walking me through it, he was like, this is what we're going to do. And the nurse was like, and I'll tell you everything that's going on. And I was like, don't do that.
Yeah.
How come?
Do not narrate it because I knew in my brain, I don't want you to go, oh, now I'm cutting your eyeball because I'll flip out.
Right.
Yeah.
But for most people, that's comforting. They want to know step by step. But I specifically was like, do not.
I would be like that.
I wouldn't want to know.
No.
I'm cutting your eyeball.
Yeah. So they didn't tell me anything.
Is it still num-num?
Now I'm touching myself.
All they did was count down what they were doing. And that was the other thing, too, is it literally
what do you
takes
think about
30
Obamacare?
seconds.
Oh, really?
It takes 30 seconds.
Oh,
so
really?
It's 30 seconds per eye. It's normally 20. Mine were 30 because my eyesight was so bad, and they told me it's going to take 10 extra seconds. It was like watching someone do something to your eyeball while you're not in your body. It was crazy. So my friend Erin Gibson took me. She's an angel and drove me and did all that stuff, and she has the same prescription I do. So as soon as I got off of the table, she's more creeped out than all of you guys put together, and I got off the table and was like, dude, you could totally do that. That was nothing. It was a breeze. She's like, cool, okay. And then the next day, I woke up and couldn't see out of my right eye.
The phrase jolt of adrenaline entered my mind.
Well, it was weird because I could see across the room, sort of.
Did you blink each eye? Is that how you were able to tell you were blind in one eye?
No, I just saw
you could just feel it.
It was like seeing double. It was weird because I could read the clock. So on one hand, I'm like, I could read the clock. It's a miracle. And then I'm like, but there's two of them. That's weird. You know what I mean?
Oh, God.
Yeah, I'd covered up one eye and then I realized, I can't see out of my right eye. Okay. And I was kind of freaked out, but I was thinking it's the first day, maybe, whatever. So the next day when I woke up and it was not any better, I just was like, this I don't think is right. And the doctor had given me a cell phone number. And so I called him and I was like, I can't see at all. And I don't mean blackness. It wasn't blackness. It was like my right eye was looking through the thickest possible stained glass or something.
And so did you have to keep it closed to get a clear image? Or because my left eye is crapo.
Right.
And what they said was when I was a kid, my brain was getting two separate images. So it basically shut down the development of my left eye so it could get one monocular image.
Right.
And it was never detected as a kid because back in I'm assuming they still do this, they would say, you're having an eye test. So I would think, I'd better pass.
Oh, and so you would like lie about what you could read?
I would cheat. I'd learn how to like get my right eye over there. And they never explain to you, there's no failure here.
Right.
Exactly.
You know,
right.
There are no wrong answers to the eye test.
Pass.
I did the same thing because they would like line you up and you would be doing the eye test with 30 other kids looking at you and sniggering at you. So if you can see down to like an acceptable level of the chart, then you were like a complete failure and everyone would laugh at you. So I was just like, well, that chart is up in the nurse's room like 365 days a year. I'm just going to learn it.
Smart, yeah.
Wow.
Like, so I just learned the eye test.
Cramming for the eye test?
Well, here's the thing with eye charts. They only use like 7 letters. It's an L or an E or an N. It's not like Q. That's not on the chart.
Which is funny. I wonder what the scientific reason is for that. Just because they have angles? Is that why they don't want to use a Q or
I have no idea.
Yeah, right? Isn't that weird? Why would they just not use all of them?
I don't have all the answers.
So,
I can't answer all your questions, April. God damn it. If you weren't blind.
She's relying on you now. She's
I know.
limited.
You're my eyes. You're my eyes.
Don't make fun of the disabled. I felt like a junkie because I was in sweats. I had blackout curtains drawn. Like I didn't leave the house. I was like crying, just only having food delivered. This is the lowest point of my life.
Crying because you were scared?
Yes. The second day when it was not any better, my right eye was useless. I couldn't even make out objects. Everything was just like a blob of color or something.
And you're calling your doctor going, dude.
Well, I didn't know better. I just thought, oh, okay, this is a slow healing.
Oh, Jesus, no. I would be on the phone in a New
No,
York
I did.
second.
I called him the second day and I just was like, I think my right eye it's not healing quick enough or whatever. And he just asked me to describe it. And then he was like, okay, I'll open the office for you. He was rad. On a Saturday and a Sunday, he opened the office just for me.
I would find that disconcerting.
Yeah.
Well, it's not his fault at all.
This is what would be disconcerting. That's too bad.
And then, see you later, click. Yeah. I came in and he told me what I had. I had epithelial cell ingrowth. It happens to 1% of the patients who have LASIK.
Oh,
and
1%. You're special.
I'm definitely in the wrong 1% to be in. It's in all the literature.
You had ingrown eye cells.
I did. They grew on my right eye incorrectly. And it was right on my pupil, so I couldn't see through them.
For people who don't realize, your cornea resembles chicken parts at a grocery store.
Yes, exactly. So I knew that going in because it's in the literature. You read, oh, this happens to 1% of people and go, oh, that's not going to be me. And it has to be somebody, right? So he scraped the bad cells off of my eyeball, which was a billion times weirder than the surgery.
Did he numb it again at least?
He did numb it again.
What did he scrape it with?
He had to take these super tiny tweezers and like pick them off my eyeball. It was gnarly.
How tiny were they?
Super tiny. Like I had to sit
So it's
in
like
the thing.
picking off a scab, basically. It's picking off a scab off your eyeball.
Well, no, because they weren't. I think it was more like sloughing off dead skin or something. I don't know how to describe it, but he had to look through the microscope and take the tweezers and go pick. And that was crazy because I had to hold my own eyeball open and like look at him doing it. And I didn't have Valium.
The only way that could have been weird is if while he's doing it, he just says, you know, my real name is Dr. Toe Sucker. Oh, gee.
As he was doing it, my vision got clearer and clearer. I was like, oh my God. But then
I can see.
My parents super championed this. They were like, it's amazing. Go get it. And I called my mom crying. Like, I ruined my life. Yeah.
Fucker.
I really did panic. I mean, I had a mental breakdown.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
Yeah, that's a legit reason.
We rely on our eyes.
Yeah, it's a good panic.
Yeah.
And especially because, like you said, it was an elective thing. Yeah,
It was elective.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, I just don't want to wear thick glasses anymore. Okay. And
You hadn't even overdone it on the masturbation, right? You just gone blind. You just gone straight
It was
to
through
blind.
none of my own actions. Told today by the doctor that vision should return to my right eye within 7 to 10 days.
Business days?
7 to 10 business days. And today they had put plugs in my tear ducts in my right eye so that the moisture will stay in my eyeball. That was super weird too.
What do they use to plug it?
Tiny tweezers and these little collagen plugs.
I have plugs in my tear ducts anyway. Emotional plugs.
Andy called and was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I can't believe I suggested that." I'm like, dude, I don't blame you. Like,
do you want to go see Mad Max 3D? No, probably not. It's 3D. Your 3D days
He
are
was
over.
very kind. He brought me food. Like, he felt so guilty. And I'm like, all these people were like, "I'm so sorry."
Everybody's just bringing you carrots. I don't think it's going to help.
Yeah, you didn't do anything wrong. Like, I get that it worked out awesomely for you.
I find your great attitude disconcerting.
Yeah.
But it just
I would be pissed, I
on
think.
day 4, I was like, well, what am I going to do? Really, truly, I remember waking up on day 4 going, this might be the rest of my life, just vision in one eye. I got to deal with it. You know
There's
what I'm saying?
not any part of you that's like, why me? Why did I have to do the
definitely.
Okay.
Oh, my God. Like, the first 2 days, I did nothing but weep.
Yeah,
all day
I
long.
have to say there's only one thing worse than a cheerful person, and that's someone that's cheerful in the face of adversity. I mean, motherfucker, just be miserable. Just wallow in your own misery.
I was definitely miserable for like 2 days.
Okay, I feel better. Thank you.
When you were convinced that you were going to be blind in one eye, did you develop a greater appreciation for Sammy Davis Jr. and or a desire to hang out with Peter Lawford?
I really, truly did. At the end of day 2, I was like, I guess I'm going to have to start wearing an eye patch, and that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, you and Moisha Diane.
I truly was like, I'm going to go buy an eye patch.
that would be hot. That would be hot. You and an eye patch would be kind of hot.
Thank you.
I say that as your friend.
I appreciate it.
Say that as your.
So I really did. That was really at the end of day 2. I was like,
platonic friend.
Sure.
Why are you making hand motions that the rest of us should leave the room?
I need 120 seconds for a Twitter-style interlude. 140 seconds.
I just in my eye patch.
I shaved 20 seconds off it.
I will be able to see you in 7 to 10 days.
And then what's your next big surgery?
Well, listen how crazy my mom is.
Can I make a suggestion?
Of course.
Flip up nipples?
Yes.
And
only all lasers.
So you can keep stuff inside.
Totally.
People who have plastic surgery and it just doesn't work. You look like a ventriloquist dummy.
But they keep trying to tweak it.
Yeah, and the more you tweak, the worse it is. And that was when Bruce Jenner, now Caitlyn Jenner, first got his Adam's apple shaved down. The story was, no, he'd had some work done and now he's getting it tweaked.
Right.
Before she came out with her truth.
Yes.
That was the cover tale, that he was getting his plastic surgery tweaked.
I think that stuff needs upkeep.
Yes.
You never get just one plastic surgery.
Well,
no, because you constantly age and your bones, your face is in a state of constant change, and so it doesn't age right. Everything hangs wrong, and it's just I'm not a big
fan of fake boobs.
I had a makeup artist on a show just look at my face. I was on a show, and the makeup artist looked at my face and said, "You can fix that."
Fix what?
Which part of it?
That's what I said. The whole thing? Is it that bad? And she just went, "No, your jowls."
Jowls.
Whatever. It was just like you get a chin implant and your jowls go. It's like, I'm fine. I'm pretty down with what I look like. I've gotten this far on my, dare I say, McGruff the crime dog-esque countenance to point to your face and go, "You can fix that."
Oh, I've had makeup artist ladies be like, you can get Botox or whatever. For real. And I'm like, okay, I'm a personality plus lady. I'm not that lady anyway. I'm winning you over with my charm, clearly. Like, looks are not what I've always depended on. So it's not like that's my focus. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I tell myself, too.
But it's true. It's not you're both. You're the whole package.
No.
You know what I mean?
That's what the tiger lady also says.
Yeah,
the woman that was made to look like a tiger.
Right.
Anytime.
Wildenstein.
Yeah.
Wildenstein.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. She's horrifying.
Yeah.
We talked about the LASIK surgery. When you have, I want to use the medical terms, when you have your wang turned into a cooch, that is one thing you do not want to go back on. Like, no, I don't know. That's not a call you want to get on Saturday if you're the doctor. Buyer's remorse.
But
you still have it there.
Caitlyn didn't.
Not yet.
In that interview, she said that she might not necessarily.
I do believe that Caitlyn still has a wang.
Yeah, I think.
Cooch.
Yeah.
And Caitlyn's wang already has a Twitter account because it's following me, and I thought that's kind of sad.
It's following you? Oh, that's sweet. She is a shining beacon to people of unlimited wealth everywhere.
Thank you. I'm serious. Thank you. Because it's like, look, I'm all about it. I think it's rad. I especially think it's rad because now my mom, who's like religious, grew up in Georgia, is like super pro transgender rights because of that interview, which is amazing and wonderful.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's like, stop pretending like it's not a person with like unlimited funds who can afford to get 5,000 surgeries and look super rad. I feel like the attitude is less, I'm proud of her for being her, and more, isn't she hot? That's the focus of it.
I got into about a year ago for making some profoundly uneducated, unenlightened, casual, non-thinking remarks about transgendered people. Mm-hmm. I was schooled on the podcast. And
wait, where did you make these remarks?
I made them on Jonah Radio.
Oh.
And I believe the expression, a world of shit, was dumped upon me, and deservedly so. What I said was really...
I bet you got more followers on Twitter, though, right?
Yeah,
exactly, right?
Followers were saying all sorts of nice stuff.
But I didn't, I literally wasn't thinking, I just said some shitty things. So I don't want to be, I don't want people to misinterpret my comments now.
How did the shitstorm start? Do you curse on your podcast?
No, the bloggers, transgender bloggers flagged me, and then the... but I get it. I had it coming. And but here's the things about Caitlyn Jenner that are, to me, interesting. Now we get to give Caitlyn Jenner all the privacy and dignity that her family is so famous for craving. Totally. Of all the people, the person that made a mockery of the concept of privacy, that turned their private life into a TV show.
Right.
Suddenly he's like, hey, can I have a little dignity, please? I don't know. Can you?
Right.
I don't know if you can. To a lot of people, Bruce Jenner is not the father from the Kardashians. He was the symbol of American manhood.
Right.
In 1976, he was the guy, king of the Olympics, cover of the Wheaties box, big, hairy chest, super athlete, Bruce Jenner. So
glorious feathered hair.
So, yeah, the
maybe
Dorothy
he's
Hamill
still the symbol of American manhood. Hey?
Yeah, ironically, yes. And I think that cover looks a little Photoshop to me.
Oh, sure.
It's a little too.
But hey, look on the bright side. He can have his appearance critiqued like the rest of us chicks now, right?
Now, some really positive
and
things.
Even Hollywood can pay him less now, right? He's a chick. They can totally like wipe a zero off that salary. Very impressive
things have happened to Caitlyn Jenner since her surgery. She makes 75 cents on the dollar now. People don't really listen to any of her opinions. They just stare at her tits. So she's on her way, sliding into home.
Yeah,
as it were.
On her way to being a woman, right? Yeah.
Someone said, like, well, it's a cosmetic surgery, and, you constantly have to keep it up with hormones and everything. Yeah. If we all were denied access to our most fundamental toiletry items, we're about 6 weeks away from being dog people. I mean, really,
you're giving me a generous 5 extra weeks on that.
Sure. Yeah. But if we, it's like, we
don't even look at me without leave-in conditioner.
we all have various types of upkeep before we go feral.
5 days in hospital wasn't pretty.
My God. When my dad had his stroke, he stopped shaving, and he just had this, my dad does not have any facial hair. And he just grew this crazy long white,
like ZZ Top.
Yeah, ZZ Top beard, and it was really spooky. It was really
like Father
crazy.
Time. It was white.
Yeah, it was. Oh yeah, my dad's 84.
I had pubes for the first time of my adult life. It was kind of interesting. It's like, ooh, that's what they look like.
For the first time in your life?
My adult life. Yeah.
So I was going to say, so you started shaving before you needed to shave. You just wanted to
just in case.
Just get it. Just in case. Just stop them at the border.
Yeah.
Wait, why were you in the hospital for 5 days?
I had a herniated disc. I've got like an 11 millimeter herniated disc. And doctors are like, what? You can walk? I'm like, yeah.
Were you in constant pain?
It was like giving birth out of my back. And it was kind of even worse because I just moved in with my roommate. And I wasn't expecting to have like catastrophic back pain, right? So like it comes on, and I think, I'll just go to bed, right? So I take my jeans off, and then I realize I can't pull my PJs on because I literally can't reach my ankles.
Right.
So I was
JFK
like, well, fuck it, I'll just like fall asleep, because then if I'm asleep, I can't feel pain. Woke up in agony in a G-string. couldn't put my PJs on, had to crawl to the telephone. My roommate's like at work. There's no one else near. So her uncle has to come and break into the house and rescue me. I'm in my fucking G-string with my ass hanging out. Right. And this guy I've never met in my entire life is there to take me to the hospital. So, yeah, I stopped wearing G-strings after that.
I like the sentence, woke up in agony in a G-string, comma, not my own. We're all X amount of upkeep away from just being slathering dog people. I don't know what's happening with my hand. I have this thing now where my finger doesn't extend.
Oh, yeah.
But
it does appear that you're doing it on purpose. So when you squeeze your wrist,
when I make
your
a fist,
ring finger extends.
My ring finger doesn't extend.
Maybe this is related to divorce.
Huh? Here's something that's oddly not a lie. I was lifting weights, and I think I picked it up wrong, and I sort of pulled something.
I did that with this finger, and I had like
your middle finger.
I still can't bend it all the way down like the rest. And, you know, people would be like, oh, yeah, you've been masturbating too hard. And I'd be, no, that's this finger.
Do you guys use your middle fingers for masturbation?
I don't at all.
No, me neither.
You use that.
You just use your middle finger?
Well, you don't want to use a finger that you eat with, right?
I've never thought of it.
That's why women never masturbate with a fork.
Well, can't you just wash your hands?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, but, you know, it's just
so
like...
You generally want to keep it separate.
Your what?
Is it just because you're like, I know where that's been?
Exactly.
Sometimes when I'm in a bathtub, I'll look down at my junk, and my urethra will mouth the sentence, we're going to die alone, aren't we?
I don't think that's personal at all.
No.
One tear.
That should be on a billboard.
One
the
tear
points, you're like the Indian.
One tear and a slow
Indian
nod.
when you-
And then it
That's
just
a
kind of
litter.
shrugs and goes back into the water like a dolphin.
Do you take Ambien?
No, I don't take Ambien. I used to take Klonopin, which is great. Klonopin is what they give rhinos when they're too agitated.
I took a Klonopin once when I went into an MRI. It was great. I take Ambien, and then I go online shopping, and things arrive that I forgot that I
exactly.
ordered.
And then you show another medieval crossbow and white chocolate.
I'll take any drug.
Really?
Yeah.
You'll try anything except nothing.
What's your favorite drug?
Free.
Well, I think you're in the right room for that.
Just weed. Weeds.
Weed
Yeah.
stuff.
Now, do you get high every day, Steve?
No.
Every other day?
Now tell the truth.
No, I
I'm
don't.
teasing
Not every day.
Three times a week?
Oh yeah, easily.
Do you double up on the days that you skipped when you
Okay.
skip?
I'm going to be a super un-Portlandy right now.
As opposed to how Portlandy you've been since you walked out here.
Yeah, they love hearing about the Klan. The Klan has really been a home run in Portland.
So Portland. That's the name of your next album.
Well, no, here's what it is. Well, I will say I come up here, and I come up here a lot, and every time I come here, I think, fuck, why don't I live here? This is the perfect city. And then this morning, I was on Hawthorne, and I saw a guy in a chicken suit playing the violin. And I thought, God damn it, why don't I fucking live here?
Was he any good? That's the question.
Do you have to be good? You know,
It's true.
He was committed.
You know, it's like he's a chicken and he's playing the violin.
Yeah.
It's like a dancing bear. Look, he's not a great dancer. He's a bear and he's dancing.
It's very cocky of him.
Yeah, exactly. It's like just
play the... Okay, all right. Oh, okay. Good.
right in the cloaca.
Right in the cloaca.
Boing, Steve. But
Dana.
I've never been high.
What?
I've never been high.
Bullshit.
Never been high.
Really?
I think
No,
you'd be
never
as
been
bad
high.
as I am.
I got
at
drunk
it.
once in 1977,
Whoa.
threw up in Cara Nofri's house and thought, I'm done.
So you don't even drink?
No, I drink, but I don't get drunk. I'll have like a beer. By the way, I was raised on planet of the alcoholic drug addicts. It's not like there is anything that I've missed in terms of being around it.
Yeah.
So when you are stoned, what does that feel like?
Yes, Steve. This is all a big
by the way-
intervention. We've
by the
all
way,
come here because we're worried about
As far
you.
as this room is concerned, the past 2 minutes are the leading cause of vaginal dryness. That old man doesn't like what I like.
Are you that old man?
I'm that old man. Yeah, that's what
I
people
can't stop thinking about what your next album should be called. I want to go
old
back.
man's not bad.
I want to go back to Spooning with Hookers, A Man's Life, and it's just you and a hooker looking at her watch, and she's pissed, and she's like 400 pounds.
But you know, Dana, I feel like most people have to get high to attempt something close to how you already are.
Well, that's my point, and we'll get into that in a moment.
Steve's in a meditative
I'm high
trance.
on intolerance. Now, what is it like?
Well, I started smoking weed when I was younger just because it was fucking rad. And then, but I do it now, really. I do it now because I suffer from vertigo, and it honestly is the only thing that makes me not feel nauseous.
Oh, okay. And how is it that you started to suffer from vertigo? And when you say vertigo, you mean you get dizzy, you're not obsessed with Kim Novak.
I get dizzy, yeah. For like 20 years,
Thank you.
yeah.
Did you get vertigo?
Commedia obscura.
Did you get vertigo as soon as pot dispensaries arrived in Los Angeles?
Yeah.
No, I've had it for 20 years. 20 years.
You used to be a mountain guy, did you not?
Yeah. I think I got it in a boating accident.
Wait a minute.
Like,
You used to be a mountain guy?
When were you a mountain guy?
You got it in a boning accident?
Yeah.
He bones too hardly. What do you got a joint in your ween?
You fucked yourself dizzy? Is that what you're saying?
I jumped out of a moving speedboat.
Hot.
My friends and I, no, we were drunk, but we were trying to see who could jump out of the boat when it was going the fastest.
Were you?
And I got and I snapped my neck and
Were you
got
in
whiplash.
Lake Havasu?
It wasn't Lake Havasu.
That's where shit like that goes down. You were a mountain guide? Where were you a mountain guide?
Let's focus in on this just a moment.
Did you get a lot of...
I'll ask the questions.
Wait a minute, did you get a lot of poo nanny when you were a mountain guide?
We're talking about pussy over here, Dana.
Did you get a lot of poon when you were a mountain guide?
Yeah.
I bet you did. Did you have a ponytail?
Mountain poon.
Did you have like a man bun?
I had a massive ponytail.
Fuck yeah, you did. Fuck yeah, you did. I know. I went to college in Colorado. The ladies would be climbing all over Mount Agee.
You were just
Mount
This is
Agee.
so weird.
You were the sun-dappled god of the stratosphere, taking people up the mountain in your cargo shorts.
Just look at any of my
filled with
Throwback
pockets of
Thursdays.
mystery.
I'm unrecognizable.
Oh my god! Did you have like little carabiners clipped all
Yeah.
over? Fuck yeah! I know you. I made out with you in the late '90s.
Now, how does one... And did the vertigo, is that what ended your days as a mountain guide?
No, a really bad fall did that.
Okay.
Off of the back of a boat on Lake Havasu.
No.
There's really only
Off a
one
rock.
bad thing that can happen to you when you're a mountain guide, and that's pretty much it.
Falling, yeah.
Yeah.
Were you a big skier?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, do you do...
Did you have like bump skis? You got your bump skis? And
I did. I had
totally
all
know
that
you.
shit,
That's
yeah.
and
stuff.
I wish I would have gotten high before this, because this is really just... I'm feeling ganged up on now.
Well, you're hiding over in the corner. Come closer, Stevie.
You are Jennifer Grey from Dirty Dancing. We have put baby in a corner.
I'm going to lift you up at the end, though.
Can you not do strenuous physical athletic activity because of your vertigo? And if that is true, do you miss it?
No, I can. I just don't like to anymore.
Okay, that's
no,
also
I got my
acceptable.
first writing job, like 15 years ago, and it was all downhill from there. You're in a writer's room, and there's a kitchen right there, and you're just there for 15 hours a day. That's all you do.
Right,
is
yeah,
eat.
no, I understand that.
Believe me.
The kitchen at The Simpsons was like your house the morning after Halloween. It was just bowls of candy all the time.
Yeah.
And when I left that place, I was big as a fucking house.
Oh, my God. For the first time you're on any set, just free food? Are you kidding? Free Pop-Tarts whenever I want?
Yeah, exactly.
Why couldn't Melissa McCarthy have existed when I started? Because it's too late for me to jump categories now.
Yeah.
Fuck. Give me one long weekend alone on like a peanut butter plant. Fuck, I could put on like
A
89.
peanut butter
Fuck,
plant?
yes.
Arden and I, the one thing we share...
I love peanut butter.
The one thing Arden and I share, outside of our vigorous love of country, is...
America, not music.
Yeah, I cannot have peanut butter in the house.
God damn it. I've eaten entire jars. It's not pretty. I fucking
Right.
love peanut butter.
Sitting in the kitchen, staring at the clock, thinking about people from high school that you still hate.
That's so true. So
Yeah.
true.
They all did well.
Ironically, I'm allergic to both of those things.
Now, that's what I wanted to get into. And you,
Peanut butter
Baron,
and weed.
You're allergic to
everybody
weed?
has...
Yep.
How'd you find out?
Everybody
Well,
has...
we'll get there.
Yeah.
I'd like that. I'm going to get scolded at Tinkle Twins. I'm going to be put in a cage.
Now, Alison, now you were saying earlier,
yes,
you're trying
to get pregnant, but finding it much more difficult than I had any idea it was going to be because
not just having sex. It's like trying to get pregnant 2.0. You're bringing in medical professionals.
That's right. I was a child of DARE and of safe sex. So my biggest fears were DARE to keep kids off drugs. It was an anti-drug campaign.
I remember that. I know what it was for.
So growing up, my biggest fears were doing cocaine once and having a heart attack.
Yes,
like happened with Regina Morrow in Sweet Valley High #6.
Yes,
I don't know if you read those books or if you were more of a babysitter's club
I was both.
kind of girl.
I liked them both.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was one of my fears. And the other one was getting pregnant as a teenager. Now, granted, I wasn't having sex as a teenager, but I was still afraid.
Me too. Because it was like rock the vote style times where it was like Madonna
Just
safe
say
sex.
no.
I was like, if I have sex one time, I'm getting AIDS.
I was sure that it just takes one time to get pregnant. And the first time that my
It does. That's all it takes.
I was so into birth, like multiple forms of birth control. I took the morning after pill even when I hadn't had unsafe sex. I was so psycho about thinking that
if you used the condom, you were on the pill, you took the morning after pill, and you gave birth to a ghost.
Hey, at least that would be a child.
You gave birth to Casper.
That's right. I mean, I thought that if a penis had been anywhere near me, I was convinced that probably those things can jump through the air and climb inside you, because you hear that people can get pregnant from pre-ejaculate, although I don't know anyone who was born that way.
Right. The Invisible Man.
Yeah. There you go.
Wow.
It is like fleas. They can kind of jump into your
what they
vagina,
say.
right?
That's
like fleas. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Thank you for tonight's nightmare.
Yes. That was Nicole, Vagina Full of Fleas Powers.
Now that I know more about it, the target window, like the days of the month when you can get pregnant, it's not every single day. It's really only a couple days.
I'm totally with you. I thought the same thing, and same with AIDS. I was like, I'm going to get pregnant and get AIDS at the same time.
From just being near someone.
Yes, totally.
So the very first time my husband and I had unprotected sex, I remember the next day thinking, like, I'm probably pregnant.
Yeah.
And I waited until a couple months before our wedding, because we started trying before our wedding. I'm really not that traditional, so I don't know why I was so traditional with this, but I don't want to be showing in my wedding dress.
Right.
But anyway, so now flash forward to a year and a half later, not pregnant, and we just been going to a fertility clinic for about a year now.
And are you people saying, you know what? Eat a lot of bacon, like just ridiculous.
We have no idea how many people have told me.
In dead leaves.
Just relax. Just you know what? Just get drunk, go to Cabo. You'll get pregnant. Like, I really don't think so. There's more going on here than just my being tense.
So do you have to give yourself shots now?
I did, yes. So we did something called IUI, which is intrauterine insemination. So my husband has made love to so many cups.
Has he had that one where they do centrifugal shit on your sperm? So that the strong ones rise to the surface.
Here I come to save the day.
Yeah. They get the
Uber sperm.
Right, exactly. That sperm that you can order on an app on your phone. So then they put that in your uterus.
Actually, that would be a good name for chick Tinder. Uber sperm.
It would be.
Right?
Chick Tinder.
I eat popcorn. Everybody eats popcorn. She tastes real nice. Get yourself some now at our refreshment stand.
Welcome to Political Talk with two guys from Boston. A working man's look at the socio-political issues of our day. And now, Political Talk with two guys from Boston.
This is Political Talk with two guys from Boston. I'm Johnny Condon.
Robbie Sullivan
Robbie. We're brought to you by Bevilacqua Heating and Air Conditioning.
We're cool if you're cool.
It's big, hot time.
Jeez, are we working?
We are busy. Lots of air conditioners dripping out into the backyard.
Oh, my God. Yesterday, Mrs. Denning, how many calls did we get? Like 10.
10 calls.
We're in the field. You can't go there. You're doing something else. But she's like, I don't know if you remember, but every year I call you. Like, she's very upset with us.
Yeah, and then you fix it, and by the time you get to the double D, she's like, now I'm cold.
Exactly. And we're like, you know the number? It goes up and down.
Put on a sweater.
She says, I can't see it. I can't see it without my glasses.
And it's these people, it's like, they're alive. They're still alive.
That's kind of what it feels like.
Every Memorial Day weekend, the phone's ringing. It's, oh, my God, Mrs. Putnam didn't die.
It's like a summer holiday for us where we're like, oh, my God, 11 of them are still with us.
Everybody's dying.
Yeah, I don't blame them.
I don't blame them.
It's an easy way out.
Oh, everybody gets to die but me. You just lie back in a cushioned box. It's probably cool because you're underground.
At what age do you start getting jealous of the people passing? I don't know. Right about now.
You want to feel old?
Half a fucking century.
Hey, you know what would be a horrible way to die?
Yeah.
Being crucified?
Yeah.
Must have stunk.
Yeah,
but
that
here's
can't
what
be good.
Here's what I was thinking. At one point, they stopped it.
What do you mean?
Well, they don't still crucify people.
Oh, I see what you mean.
At
Yeah,
one point
I thought you meant they were like, Jesus, come down.
Yeah.
You know what? Go back up.
Yeah. Did they know it was the last one?
Yeah,
like,
right.
All right, everybody, look. It's been outlawed as cruel and unusual punishment.
Yeah.
And in the very last one, they're like, I like just to give everybody a big round of applause.
Yeah, come on, because they've been here.
Not only for the crucifiers, but for our cruciteers. You're also a part of this.
Don't forget yourselves in history. Remember.
I bet the reason they stopped doing it was not because, here's what you do. When anything horrible stops.
Yeah.
It's never because somebody went, hey, guys, this is awful.
No, that's what drove ticket prices up.
Yeah, it's usually because somebody had a way to make it better and it didn't work.
Yeah.
Like somebody, what if we nailed them to snakes? And then everybody got excited, and then they couldn't make the snakes stand in the ground.
Yeah.
And then they didn't want to go back to boards because the idea of snakes was just so intoxicating that
Totally.
Yeah, boards just didn't feel a good way anymore.
The grossest story ever told. Really, that's what people are looking for.
It's not in the Bible, but at one point he had to say, Jesus. I know that's my name, but Jesus.
That's where it started.
Yeah.
That's where the expression was coined.
So I don't want to get too philosophical, but God killed his only son so that we would know that he loved us.
Yeah, but is that what's on the internet?
That is the definition of passive aggressive.
Perhaps his parent made a poor decision.
If there's one thing I learned in couples therapy, it's why don't you talk it out instead of acting it out?
You know, if you're in like a relationship with a girl for a month or two and you're already in counseling.
Yeah, if you go straight to counseling.
I think it's better to move. I just do. Just better to move and then call and go, geez, I moved. I should have told you.
You know.
But I'm gone.
I live in Vermont now. Yeah, it's probably not going to work.
I just think it's the right move. And from there, you can both move on instead of all that, like, why are we in counseling at 2 months?
Yeah. If getting laid involves the turnpike, forget it.
No. You know, I thought I was doing really, really well with this girl. And then I realized she was asking me for money. And it was a depressing moment. You know, I was at Dunkin' Donuts. And, you know, it's not where I go to pick up people or nothing, but the woman's really giving me attention. And at the end, she goes, oh, geez, I can't believe it. I've left my wallet. Oh, I can't even get my coffee. Well, I'll see you again soon. And I got nothing left to say, but, I got your coffee.
Boy,
don't worry about it. I got your coffee.
If you can't cover the tab at Dunkin' Donuts.
But then what happens, Johnny, I don't have it.
Oh, no.
So I'm like, I got you covered. And I reach into a pocket full of wet change. And I'm taking out of the car.
This is like a scene from Ironweed.
Coffee spilled in. And now I'm looking at coffee change. And, you know, I don't think she was that impressed.
Oh, God.
It wasn't like I said, here's a 50 and, you know, keep it. It was like, I think I'm 27 cents shy. Can we be cool with this? I put $1 in the thing when I got mine.
Oh.
And the guy said, yeah. And then, so I did get her the coffee.
When that's like you had a hobo moment.
Well, what happens is if someone's 10 years younger than me and they're interested in me, I'm like, oh, yeah, no, I don't have to go to work today. You know? Johnny will cover me.
Sometimes the stars line up that you meet somebody who's just on the verge of a terrible life decision. And it's you.
That's why my nickname is the Rebounder.
Exactly.
I like it.
Young people look at me like I'm the rusty entrance sign to a long dead drive-in.
When a girl's telling me about their ex and all the crap that person did, I'm just like, perfect, won't do that, don't do that, won't do that. I got this one. I got this.
When they don't mention their kid till date number 3. Oh, by the way, I got to go home. It's my weekend with my kid.
Wait,
what? I'm sorry. What? Hello?
Wait, what? That's the
We already went to Maine. How am I just finding this out?
You've pushed me to the point where I love you and I hate you for it.
Exactly.
I can't get away now.
Now that you've left me, I know that you love me, so I'll take you back. What? No, I left you.
Wait, what?
I left you because you shit on my chest.
Yeah.
You were sleeping.
That was not your fault. I think that's what it comes down to a lot is blame. You know, I've been working on this diet, and I've been seeing this girl, and she's like, you're heavy. So I'm trying to, cut out the stuff. So I did a really smart thing when I went summer shopping.
Nice.
I bought the same pairs of shorts in 36 and 38. So every time that I'm like, honey, I walked a mile in the woods, I put on the bigger shorts, and she goes, you know what? Look at it. For God's sakes, you can have a spoonful of ice cream. And I have it.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. I'm still going to be fat, though.
Sure.
But happy.
If I ate the way I wanted to eat, I would have to wear clothes made out of a deflated moon bounce.
Well, I looked into this paleo diet, and I'm like, I'm going to do it. And I start looking at it, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it. And I list all the things, and I start, and it's the first morning of it. And I go, what, no cream cheese on my bagel? Fuck, this thing's an asshole. I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
And they have a dietary anklet thing, like from prison on you. That
You're
goes
walking around like...
Yeah, you didn't walk yet, and you already ate a bagel. You're an idiot.
Yeah, you're like Andy Dick at a wine tasting festival. Just forget it. So I mentioned a rusty drive-in sign. I'm up in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
And I drive, remember the lakes?
Oh, yeah.
Lakes Drive-In, that's
Sure.
all rusted out.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel like younger women look at me. Like there was a time when that was a place of joy and entertainment. And now it's just taking up space and will maybe host a flea market.
Johnny, you have, 150 of those big speakers in your soul. A pumpy parking lot full of speakers.
My soul is a Death Star trash compactor of drive-in speakers.
My friend and I, from Boston, this kid Dave Waller, we went up to that place and we took a slide that had been, in the original days, they would put up like a playground because the little kids maybe don't want to watch the movie, and they'd be over there and be like, oh, there's the kids, there's the movie, and it was all safe. Well, eventually that wasn't safe.
Yeah.
So they tore all that stuff down and they put it in the screen. So the big screen has this huge like hallway underneath it where they store all the crap.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
When they need it. So he finds out they're tearing the thing down or whatever, they got to empty it out or whatever, and we go down and take the slide in the middle of the night. Yeah, and on the way down, he says to me, we were drinking and driving. And I don't
like
do that.
You had to do it in the middle of the night because the theft of an abandoned drive-in slide.
That's what's so funny. It was like a robbery, but it wasn't. Nobody wanted the thing.
Right.
Nobody's protecting it. There's not a guard there or nothing. He's just like, I know where there's this thing. The door's unlocked. The guy told me if I could take it, that'd be great for him. He doesn't have to move it.
Stealing something
but don't tell anybody. That's what the guy said to him. I'd love it if you took it because I don't have to move it, but don't tell anybody.
Stealing something that nobody wants is the perfect description of the Bachelorette finale.
I like that. That's perfect. I can't really watch shows like that for very long. I just get weird. But when I glance at it for a minute, I'm like, oh, this is real. This isn't a bit.
When I was a kid, a girl that banged 12 guys was called a hua.
You know what they call that now?
Town pump.
Or an actress.
Mm-hmm.
She's
the Bachelorette.
Yeah. It's all right.
Yeah. Whenever, I don't care what anybody does, but when people talk about the sanctity of marriage, I think, really? We have a game show where we give one away as a prize. Is it really that big of a fucking deal?
Well, what's weird, though, too, I think for people is the sanctity of marriage. Like, that sounds great until you're not married. And, like, for the people that have to listen to those who are freshly married or have a baby on the way, it doesn't sound very good.
Yeah.
It sounds a little like, oh, you've gone across the lane and you're nuts.
Yeah.
And then you're in it and you're like, it's the most wonderful thing. And you tell everybody how great it is. And then as it disintegrates, you're going, why did I ever talk to anyone?
It's like the sanctity of dressing up like a Klingon and sitting in your basement every third Sunday. It's a thing you do and it makes you happy. God love you.
I have been trying to figure out why you're not at softball every third Sunday.
That's what I'm doing.
I knew it, but you're still a good shortstop.
You know what? I was thinking when I saw that Rusty Drive-In sign, I also went by Gorelick Farms.
Oh, yeah. Good milk.
Amazing. We still have our Gorelick milk box.
Oh, it's red and wires.
Yeah.
It's got wire.
But gone are the days when you would wake up in the morning and drink something a stranger left on your porch the night before.
That is no longer an option.
Has lost America,
I wonder
my friend.
if there was ever a case in American history where somebody said, somebody Mickey'd our milk. Ma went out and she was tripping all morning.
If you woke up tomorrow morning and there was just a container of white liquid on your porch, would you go, let's get this in the kitchen and crack it open?
My grandfather once said, honey, I don't quite understand. And my grandma says, what are you talking about? He says, well, here's the bill for the milk, but I see the milk, and we're getting a half a bottle of cream, and he's not charging us. What the hell is going on? And the milk, I just love my grandmother. So he'd be like, oh, and this is for you, and it's on us, and we're good. But my grandma's like, what are you talking about? What's up with that extra cream? Something weird's going on.
I noticed the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, but they didn't come anywhere near Upton. What the hell are you got going on?
That's right.
Best story ever. My father was telling me about Jeannie and Bobby Stalker up in Putney, Vermont.
Oh, just that all sounds good.
My father says, so Bobby's going to bed and Jeannie, middle of a blizzard, says she's going down to buy cigarettes. So he goes, you see her? All right. He goes upstairs to bed, falls asleep, wakes up the next morning. Jeannie's not there. So he goes, what the fuck? He looks around. He can't find Jeannie. He ends up, now he's panicking. He calls the police. They found her. Jeannie slipped down the ravine on the way back from the store, froze to death in the river, pocket full of scratch tickets. All losers.
Political Talk with two guys from Boston.
Are you a fan of Political Talk with two guys from Boston? Please enjoy a Bevilacqua heating and air conditioning t-shirt. They're available now at comedyfilmnerds.com. Also available, Dana Gould Hour t-shirts, beer koozies, and bug repellent. Additionally, all three of Dana's comedy CDs, Funhouse, Let Me Put My Thoughts in You, and I Know What's Wrong are now available, signed by Dana, at comedyfilmnerds.com. As well as the newly released vinyl versions, also signed Dana Gould on vinyl. Because we know where the money used to be at comedyfilmnerds.com.
Come and get them at the concession stand.
Let's talk about the year 1981. An odd year, and not just numerically. 1981 was a very interesting year. It got off to a weird start. The President of the United States got shot. On March 30th, 1981, newly sworn-in President Ronald Reagan, who had yet to really die and become a saint, was just a regular fella walking around, and he caught a bullet in the gut. But here's the weird part. It didn't kill him. And half the country, who at that time trusted Ronald Reagan about as far as they could throw him, and thought the only thing he had going for him was that his name wasn't Jimmy Carter, thought, well, that's weird. I can't say I'm still nuts about him, but at least he's not dead. The pop cultural era that people think of as the 80s had not started yet. 1981 was still very much mired in the late 70s. The birth of the pop cultural period known as the 80s, or as Elvis Costello once called it, that charmless time. I would put that in the summer of 1983, in my own humble opinion, with the explosion of MTV and the flooding of the cultural end zone that was Michael Jackson's Thriller album. The biggest selling album of 1981 was Journey's Escape, a nice little factoid for those people who think the masses are always right. The Rolling Stones' Tattoo You came out in 1981, as well as Foreigner 4, Jay Giles' Freeze Frame, which is worth a listen if you've never heard it, The Clash's Sandinista, The Police's Ghost in the Machine, The Replacement's Sorry Ma Forgot to Take Out the Trash, Elvis Costello's Trust, and I'm sure I'm leaving out your favorite, but let's end this list with a sign of things to come. Blondie's hit Rapture, which featured the first rap ever in a top 40 hit. Now, if you're like me and you mark time by what movies were in the theaters, 1981 was a glorious year. It was the year of Raiders of the Lost Ark, as well as An American Werewolf in London, Stripes, The Road Warrior, Escape from New York, the first Evil Dead, and a bunch of big movies like On Golden Pond that I don't care about. But if you were in Boston, Massachusetts, in 1981, it was the year of the Phantom Clown Scare. Starting in the spring of 1981, the Boston Police Department began getting persistent reports of men in clown suits harassing young children. One report told of a clown driving a black van around a recreational park, And when he emerged from the van, it was revealed, no pun intended, that he was naked from the waist down. So bad was this epidemic that the Boston Public School District had to send a memo to all schools warning, "It has been brought to the attention of the police department and the district office that adults dressed as clowns have been bothering children to and from school. Please advise all students that they must stay away from strangers, especially strangers dressed as clowns." Within a month, the child-harassing clown scare had spread to a dozen surrounding cities, to the point that, and I love this, I quote, "regular clowns on their way to birthday parties and delivering clownograms were regularly stopped by the police." But no clown-disguised child harassers were found, and the police grew frustrated. Further investigation found no credible adult witnesses, and police began to doubt the veracity of the black van-driving pantsless clown epidemic. Now, were these phantom black van-driving pantsless clowns? Or were they real black van-driving pantsless clowns on the move? The sightings moved south to Providence, Rhode Island, and then 1,000 miles west to Kansas City, Missouri, where in May, police crisscrossed the city, chasing a knife-wielding clown in a yellow van that had been reported harassing 6 different elementary schools. 6! Children in Kansas City were terrified. Many were kept home from school. Now, was this mass hysteria? Or was something really going on? Were knife-wielding, van-driving, child-harassing clowns real? They were soon reported in Omaha, then Denver. Then a school in Pennsylvania reported a man in a pink and white rabbit costume harassing children near a schoolyard. That rabbit was later reported, and here's where it gets great, walking around a cemetery. Yes! People, if you have a free day, put on a rabbit costume and stroll through the cemetery. It's a victimless crime, and if anyone sees you, they have a story for life. Now, the stories of the phantom clowns eventually dissipated, being cast off into the dustbin of urban legend, mass hysteria, or, as they are sometimes called, anomalous phenomena. These were the areas of expertise of one Charles Fort, a writer in the early 20th century who specialized in cataloging and investigating unexplained phenomena. He was basically the Fox Mulder of the early 1900s. Ford had a writing style that infuriated his critics and a journalistic approach that reported phenomena as phenomena. He would not have said that the phantom clowns were real, but he would have reported that the phenomena of their sightings inarguably was. The Charles Fort Institute exists today. Its motto, help us create the world's leading resource for scholarship and research in the understanding of strange experiences and anomalous phenomena. The Charles Fort Institute publishes a magazine in England called the Fortean Times, and they'll mail it to you wherever you live. I subscribe, and I encourage you to do so as well. This is not a commercial, by the way. This is just my personal recommendation. As for the phantom clowns, are they gone for good? Here is a story from the Wisconsin State Journal that ran in June of 2000. Fitchburg, Wisconsin police, investigating a man in a clown costume who tried to lure children into the woods on Monday, have concluded that he is not a legitimate clown. Detective Todd Stetzer, who said he's learned a lot about clowning since the man appeared near the King James Court Apartments recently, said the man's black face paint set him apart from any of the mainstream styles of clowning. Which leads us to believe that this man was only using the costume for the purpose of enticement. The story goes on, but let's cut to the chase by finishing it with my favorite sentence. Police have ruled out several clowns who were in the Fitchburg area on legitimate business. Fuck yeah, they were. This story was taken from a book called Mysterious America by Lauren Coleman, and I highly recommend it. It's a great, fast, fun read. How do you get your copy? It's quite simple. Go to danagould.com. Click on our Amazon banner. It takes you straight to Amazon. But since you got there through us, Amazon kicks us back a few shekels so I can pay the people whose names you hear at the end of this podcast. The people who do the excellent work they do to bring you the show you listen to, which could not have been done had they not done that work I'm hoping to pay them for. Now, while at danagould.com, you just may want to donate to the podcast or even become a member. We all greatly appreciate it, and we heartily assure you every penny goes right back into the show. If we ever go into profit, you will fucking hear about it. Now, before we get back to the interviews, can I tug on your coat for 1 second, please? For many of us, shaving is a pain. It's an uncomfortable endurance test that we do every morning. Razor blades are outrageously expensive. Harry's was started by two guys who wanted a better product without paying an arm and a leg to get it. Harry's makes their own blades, high-quality, high-performing German blades, crafted by German shaving experts. Now think about that in your mind. Do you trust these people? I do. They offer a high-quality shave that's better for your face and for your wallet. Harry's blades are about half the price of other big brand razor blades, and they ship for free to your front door. And here's exciting news from Harry's. They've officially launched 2 new products: foaming shave gel and aftershave moisturizer. And coming in 2016, lunch meat. This starter set is an amazing deal. For $15, you get a razor, foaming shave gel, and 3 razor blades. So go to harrys.com now, and they'll give you $5 off if you type in my coupon code, Dana, with your first purchase. That's harrys.com, and enter the coupon code Dana, and check out for $5 off. And start shaving better today. Because I'm going to come to your house, and I'll check you for smoothness.
Sure, you get yours and enjoy it now.
I don't get it.
I've never done Tinder.
It was not rad. It's not a self-esteem
First
boost.
of all, they put those Clockwork Orange things in your eyes.
Well, I was only on it for like a month or something, and hardly anyone matched with me. So that was already like, cool, everyone thinks I'm ugly. That's rad. Also, it's 100% appearance based. That's the thing. It's not like OkCupid or Match where
you're
like
Personality Plus girl.
Exactly. That's not my strong suit. And so literally dudes look at your picture and go, would I fuck her? Check yes or no. And like, that's all Tinder is. And so I only matched with like 2 dudes. And then when I did,
what were they like?
They didn't talk. Like, that was the thing. When you match with someone, like, a chat window comes up, and then it's like, you're supposed to chat, and, like, the dudes wouldn't say anything. So I'm like, what was the point of this? And
I have to say that as a ghost tweeter, I am extending my services to ghost Tindering. I will swipe so that you don't have to.
I would date a ghost. That would be awesome.
And also, I felt like I was too old for it. The dudes coming up, like, their profile picture default to be them, like, flexing in tank tops or whatever. Like, what are you, like, 20?
I was just on a plane behind 2 adults, like guys in their 30s, showing each other like pictures of Tinder women.
Yeah.
I felt like I was watching Entourage. It's like, how are we the same gender?
And also, it's weird because being in LA, though, like, everyone's on it. Like, Pauly Shore came up on mine.
I've got to get on Tinder,
and
not just because of Pauly Shore, but I'm
not
so
to, like,
curious.
out Pauly Shore, because, like, whatever. Everyone's trying to get laid. Okay, fine. But, like, weirdly, like, the guy who plays Stevie in Eastbound and Down, one of the guys in Modern Family, like, all these people where I was like, why are you on here? Like, can't you just go out and get laid? You're, like, a famous person.
Do you think there are married people who are on there who are just curious? I don't mean curious about sex. I mean, like, I just want to see how I do on Tinder.
I was on OkCupid. A married friend of mine hit me up on OkCupid, and I was like, I know who you are. Like, it was weird. It's this roundabout
thing. That wasn't on not OkCupid?
He, basically, my ex-boyfriend, It was his friend. And I remember we once went to a birthday party for his wife. So I had like met that guy in the context of, I know you're married and I met your wife. So I remember when he sent me a message, I called my ex and I was like, hey, you know your friend, you know, so-and-so that we went to their party, is he still married to his wife? And he's like, yeah, she's pregnant. Like, they're totally married. And I'm like, oh, he's totally cruising OkCupid, actively cruising it. And it was weird because his picture was him. Like, it wasn't like...
Right, he wasn't trying to conceal it.
No, I'm like, anyone can see you on here, dude.
I did OkCupid when I lived in New York. Do we say bad words on this podcast or no?
Yeah.
I found OkCupid to be quite a fuckfest. Not for me personally, but I'm just saying the people who are on there, it didn't seem to me like it was people looking for relationships. Although I feel like that's kind of the case with most of online dating.
You would fall in love. Yeah, OkCupid.
I don't know. I dated a guy seriously for a bit that I met on OkCupid.
Really?
So I've only had the
Famous
experience.
actor Charles Durning.
Yeah. Actually, it was Brian Dennehy. Thank you very much.
I know a couple who met on Tinder and are now getting married.
Yeah, me too. Me too. But I feel like now, I feel like it's kind of morphed to Tinder is for banging.
Instead of saying I do this, you just both swipe each other to the right.
On an iPad like the priest holds. So I think Tinder is now banging only. OkCupid's for dating, and Match.com is for people who want to get married. I feel like that's how it goes now.
What about eHarmony? Does anyone do that one?
eHarmony is like for Christians.
Christian Mingle is for fingering. I know that.
Finger blasts only.
Yeah.
Totally.
Christian Mingle will lead to a Christian Fingle.
How about we is for anal?
I'm not on any of them. How about we is a thing?
That's
the one.
Yeah,
because I think that's a thing where you just want to meet. It's
How
like,
about
I have
we?
tickets to a concert. Will you meet me there?
Right.
I think it's for activities that you
I'm sorry.
meet.
I think How About We is a very, very specific fetish.
How about we?
How about we?
I'm not on any of them anymore.
I thought we were going to go see Bob Seger at the House of Blues. Even better idea. Stay right here and pee on you. Everybody has disadvantages that they face. You are stricken with chronic vertigo. You are allergic to 90% of the things that you encounter in a wake. Arden is a woman.
Arden, I'm taking myself out of the cage. I'm out of the cage now.
That was a dark commentary on show business. You found out recently that you're allergic to everything except steam. Is that correct?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. You can have clothespins and hot water, and that's pretty much all you can eat.
Yeah, I'm allergic to dairy. I'm allergic to nuts and every tree, grass, bush, and weed, including weed, because weed's grown outside and has pollen in it. So if I smoke it, my head swells up to the point where it feels like my eardrums are going to explode. Although I did smoke with Steve the other day and felt okay afterwards.
Boom! No pollen in my weed, motherfuckers.
Is it pollen?
Room 132. Come on.
Is it the pollen?
Yeah, it's pollen.
It's pollen? You didn't used to be allergic to this stuff. You lived over a mold factory. Is that correct?
Yeah. I mean, I started...
Why did you, of all the places to live?
Yeah, I was like, the mold factory. That sounds awesome. That's why this is $3 a month. I lived at my place in LA for 4 years. And I discovered that I had a faucet leak that probably went on for 2 years that created a ridiculous amount of water damage and 24 square feet of toxic mold that I was living in for years, getting sicker and sicker and sicker and wondering why, until, of course, the left side of my face stopped working a little bit, because that can happen. You get such swelling that it cuts off the nerve to your face. It's called Bell's palsy. But
I call it doing my killer Brian Wilson impression.
Oh, perfect.
It's very living over mold is very spiritual. I found it very spiritual.
Caroline, no. So,
what? Mike Love doesn't want to be in Beatles anymore. But I found it a very spiritual occasion.
It made all of my allergies that I kind of had, it made them all crazy, just extreme. And It's all about 3 weeks old when I ate a sandwich from a restaurant I ordered because I thought it had no dairy on it. They put butter on the buns, unbeknownst to me. I woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning choking on my own throat. So I had
And that's called, by the way,
shock.
Putting butter on the buns is called a last tango in the parlance of
Get the butter.
people with great allergies.
Did you call 911? Did you take an ambulance?
No, I took 2 Benadryl and then because I had never experienced it before. So I took 2 Benadryl, slept another 2 hours, and then the whole next day I was just dizzy because I couldn't really breathe that well.
Oh my God.
Until someone's like, we should go to the ER, and then we Ubered it over there way cheaper than an ambulance.
Yeah.
It's true. You know what? I took an ambulance in Denver, and I got, the bill came, insurance doesn't cover it. It was like $4,000.
Yeah. They
take the cab, you guys.
Yeah.
But no, don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. If you're in trouble, take the ambulance.
Yeah. They prescribed me EpiPens, and the doctor's like, yeah, you're having anaphylaxis. Be careful. Go see an allergist. And then I took the test of all the stuff, and I'm allergic to most of the stuff.
Did you have to practice giving yourself shots?
No, I haven't practiced. She showed me how to do it. It's
never
intense.
done it?
No, I've never done it yet. That's a good thing.
Yeah, right.
Arden. You've never been close to death.
No, I just worried that, like, in case it happens, you don't want to panic, and I don't know.
It's easy.
A needle that can go through my jeans is not going to worry me as much as not being able to breathe.
Fair enough.
Okay.
I found out I was allergic to dust mites. Okay. And then the doctor said, actually, you're not allergic to dust mites. You're actually allergic to their feces. To which I said, why quibble?
Maybe you shouldn't have any dust mite feces.
If those
burritos.
dust mites just had a better diet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not allergic to intimacy. It's the fact that women poop. We were in a restaurant and you were trying to order and you have to go through this, like, is there any... It's very...
Yeah, because I've learned...
And people don't listen.
Yeah.
Is there butter in the bread? No. Okay. Do you want butter on it? No.
Yeah, it's what I've learned by eating out, which has become so difficult, is that most people who work at restaurants and run restaurants do not know what dairy is.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Eggs are not
milk.
Dairy.
Do you think that because everybody now is like, oh, I'm allergic to gluten, or what? Do you think like the rest of us that have caused a hullabaloo, we've put too many fires around that yours doesn't stand out enough?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, there's so many fires.
There's so many fires, you guys.
But what is also interesting is when you step back into the macro, what it is the world trying to kill us. Because there's too many of us, and it needs to get rid of a lot of us so it can restore what it sees as its own natural
That makes
sense
me feel really
of
special.
Balance. Yeah. So
the
world's like, we
chosen
don't need this intellectual black dude. Has he been reading Booker T. Washington? Let's get him.
It's not intentional.
And some people would believe that people are a disease.
As far as the planet is concerned, we've brought so much great stuff to it.
We kind of are the mold of Earth.
Yeah, well, that's the George. That is the George Carlin bit. That's actually his most prescient bit. The lunacy of people walking around saying "save the planet." So no, the planet's fine. The planet isn't going anywhere. Eventually, we will. They're not talking about saving the planet. They're talking about keeping the planet so that we can live on it. But once we're gone, the planet will be fine. Once we're gone. But it goes back to what I was saying before. Things seem to be changing at such a rapid pace now. 8 years ago, gay marriage was, people thought it never happened. And now it's, as The Onion said, as we speak, the Supreme Court is deciding whether or not to make it legal now or in 2 years. Which is perfect because a lot of Christian conservatives are opposed to gay sex. So I think that gay marriage is the best thing that ever happened to people who are opposed to gay sex. Because nothing will stamp out sex like a marriage. John Waters actually came out against gay marriage because he was like, what? It's the best part about being gay. You don't have to get married.
Yeah, I heard somebody say that the biggest challenge that gay people face is gays in the military and gay marriage, joining the two most oppressive institutions this country has ever come up with.
Yeah, it's like, come on in, idiot.
I got the meanest messages, and it was all guys negging.
Like what kind of stuff?
I've read the game twice, FYI, fellas.
Me too.
Twice,
Dudes
though?
really still... Yeah, it's fascinating.
That's what I'm hung up on.
Honestly,
Okay.
it's fascinating.
I've read Stranger in a Strange Land twice.
The interesting thing is that the Scientologists actually courted Neil Strauss because they wanted to use the game to pick
Increase
up
their
people
numbers,
for religion.
Yeah, because
Wow.
the
Well,
theory behind it is that
religion.
and I'm not saying I'm in this category, but I'm saying the idea behind the game is super hot girls are used to everyone falling all over themselves to pay them attention and be nice to them. So if you're mean to them, a hot girl's going to go, oh my God, this guy's being mean to me. That's very fascinating.
That's like podcasters and online comments.
A lot of the dudes on OkCupid kind of take that. I think trolls? That they assume, because the ratio of women to men on OkCupid, there's way more dudes than ladies.
It's like one woman, 5,000 men.
Right. So I'm sure they assume, okay, this girl's going to have 1 million messages in her inbox. How am I going to stand out? I know, I'll be a dick. And the idea also behind the game is any attention is good attention, even if it's negative. Even if she's being mean to you, she's paying attention to you, so that's still a victory.
Well, there is the theory that indifference is worse than hate.
Yes, exactly. That's the thing. I just ignore it.
I disagree with that theory, but I've heard it.
I fully agree with it because it's more. Isn't it more if somebody gives you the silent treatment or they tell you to fuck off? The silent treatment is way more infuriating.
Well, I think it's in terms of other people. Hate is a passion, and hate is the flip side of love.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And indifference is like
nothing. I don't care.
Exactly.
And that's worse.
Exactly.
That's much worse.
I agree.
My other favorite expression is honesty without compassion is cruelty.
That is so true.
I want to mock that, but I think there's some truth in it. I wish you didn't have it in a bumper sticker on your car, but still.
I think that is true because I dated this guy who towards the end of it would like say super mean things under the guise of like, I'm just being honest. And I was like, if you cared about my feelings.
That's awful.
Hey, I'm your real look, I'm your real friend. I'm telling you, your breath smells like a crow's asshole. I don't see how that qualifies as being my friend.
Is so. I'm just being honest.
Just being honest. I'm your real friend.
Yeah, exactly.
Just call it like I see it.
Wasn't Bruce Jenner on the cover of Playgirl?
I don't know.
As if you don't have that under your mattress.
Yeah. That's funny. Playgirl never really took off. They found out that women don't like staring at cocks.
So true. It's true.
It's true. It's just like... You can just get that at a deli.
Somebody who said I read
just cold cuts.
Somebody who says I read Playgirl for the articles, you're like, oh, they must mean that. They must actually. Yeah.
It's not a magazine anymore, is it? It's not still a magazine.
I think I know what's next, Dana, and this might be the weed from 3 days ago talking, but singularity.
Just universal acceptance of creepy, weird alone guys?
Well, no.
May I just add in one thing? I was doing a gig in Scottsdale, and the club owner came up to me. I know, I'm sorry, I'm bragging. The club owner,
Arizona,
and he goes, oh my God, I'm such a fan of Dana Gould because he knows I do the shows. I love Dana so much. He goes, I gotta say, when he came here, I mean, of course he did great. He goes, I've never sold so many wags. I'm like, what? He goes, weird alone guys. I've never had more parties of one. And it was all men.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Dana's got that wag swag.
The wag swag. And they had to like stick them all at tables together because there was nobody who came as a couple.
Where my wags at? Where my wags at?
You know there's a couple wags here.
Yep.
What?
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Lot of chronic masturbators with an original series tricorder in the backseat of the car. I know my people.
Wags.
They like what
wags.
They're harmless. But
not all of them.
But thank God they're not harmless, or they'd never have sex. It's just a masturbation joke. It's not that gay people shouldn't be allowed to get married. It's that the concept of marriage is getting increasingly ridiculous. Let's return marriage to what it was. A bargain made by two families when you were too young to know what you were doing in exchange for some land and weapons. You know, it's like...
It was a contract. I read this great book, Marriage, A History. If anybody wants to look it out, Stephanie Kuntz, I believe, is the name of the author. But she...
Unfortunate last name for a book about marriage.
That's the second thing I thought. But she wrote this book because she said that so many people were coming to her.
Stephanie Cooch is her name again?
Yes, Kuntz.
Coots.
Oh, Coots.
Coots, man.
Like Cooch.
Like Dean, except with a C.
Barely an improvement. Go ahead.
Well, she was just saying that, she wrote this book because so many people, she's an expert, a national expert on marriage, and so many people were coming to her being like, what happened to marriage? Wasn't marriage better in this time? She's like, no. Marriage only reflects the priorities of that culture at that time. It changes depending on the culture. So she said there's never been an institution of marriage where it was better than the one that we have now, and everyone has always asked that since marriage has been around. Right. The only thing that's unique about marriage now is that we expect the world out of one person. We want that person to be our best friend and our partner and our collaborator and our babysitter and our financier. Scene.
No, that's true. I think that's incredibly. I think that's spot on, and I also blame rom-coms a little bit too. A lot of people, and I say this as someone who has a wedding ring dent on their hand, that it's not supposed to be hard, which is lunacy.
Oh, that it's magical and easy?
Yeah, it's terribly hard. In the best of cases, it's terribly hard. And yeah, you go to see whatever Sleepless in Seattle, you don't see those characters a year later when he thinks it's funny that he's Dutch ovening her and she's not taking it at all.
When I lived in Queens, in New York, my roommate did a very rom-com thing. There was a girl who lived 2 doors down from us that he had this huge crush on. They ended up dating, which is the rom-com, but I got to see what happens after that didn't work out, which is them avoiding each other for 3 years.
Yeah.
Because they were next door freaking neighbors.
That's why Bridget Jones 2 sucked, you know?
I know.
What?
Fuck. It's like, what the fuck? That had so much potential, that movie.
Yeah. I'm just imagining Steve pulling himself up a rock face, like leaning over. Did you guys see Bridget Jones 2 yet?
So much potential.
And all my stuff was like normal, like my default pic. It wasn't like I was like, I'm in a bikini, check out how sexy. It was just totally normal shit. And one guy was like,
check out how sexy.
His whole message, it was like, yeah, your face is okay, but yikes on those bangs. And like that was the entire message. And I'm like, you really think I'm going to answer this? It was just stuff like that where it would be like,
yes, this is reminding me that this guy on Facebook used to always comment on my makeup.
Right.
And I was because like, I feel like he's trying to neg me, actually. And finally I just said, please stop. And he went away.
Because that guy, of course, wanted me to respond and go, oh, how dare you? And then it would engage him and like whatever. So I don't want to do that.
On Twitter, like somebody will just troll you profoundly. Like, yeah, and then we'll get into a back and forth and I'll get some followers. No.
That happens to me too. There was one guy, I don't mean to just be like, let's talk about me and how everybody calls me ugly on the internet. But like, this guy, when I was on Chelsea lately.
To the point that you poked out your own eyes and made up a story about LASIK.
I can't even look in the mirror. I only want to see half of myself in the mirror.
And then you saw 2 of yourself.
I know, it backfired.
It backfired, yeah.
When I was on Chelsea lately, there was this one guy who, every time I was on, and he would comment on my picture, like how gross it was. But it was like really super foul and horrible and terrible.
I know this guy.
It was way beyond like you're ugly. It was like creepy, rapey.
Yeah.
And I went to look at his Facebook, and his default is like him and his 2 daughters and his wife.
Oh, God.
It's always family dudes.
Yes.
And so I wrote, what if somebody said what you just said to me to your daughters? And he fully was like, oh, shit, you're right. Like, actually was like, oh, damn. Why do I have to tell you that?
Like, you see, I would actually encourage people to sort of engage and shame haters. When I said something on Twitter and I just got this avalanche of haters, I just retweet.
Yeah.
I'm going to let the world see that you're an asshole.
See, don't you get people being like, you're just giving them attention.
Exactly.
You're just giving them the attention they want. April, as you were telling your story, I was like, I just heard another story like this. That's crazy. And then I realized why. It's because Chris Hardwick was on my podcast and told that story about you.
Yes. Yeah,
so I'm like, I've heard this exact story.
Well,
I
like what Ashley Judd did, where she was at a basketball game, a college basketball game or something, and was tweeting it, and then a bunch of people was saying all these loathsome things, and one specific was like, next time you see me, you're going to get raped. So she went to like Yahoo, like found out who it was. It was like a 14-year-old kid.
Of course.
Called his mother.
I love it.
Said, hi, I'm Ashley Judd. I'm an actress. I was on Twitter. I want you to know that your son tweeted this. And she was like, I'll take care of it. Thank you.
That's amazing.
And to that kid, it's sort of like flipping people off in your car.
Right.
It's like, it doesn't count.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think that's how Twitter is for most people.
It is.
Yeah, it's on the internet. It doesn't count.
When that happens, if I say something about online, people will go, oh, you have such a thin skin. If you're going to be on TV, you got to be... I'm like, here's what I want to make clear.
Wrong.
You're allowed to hate... If you want to tweet me all day long saying that I'm not funny, you don't like my jokes, you don't like my writing, do that all day long. I'm a comedian. That's fine for you to hate what I do. But like, yeah, when people are like, you should just be able to handle it. Like, no, I don't have to handle you tweeting that you want to rape me. Like, that's not...
Well, also,
that's not critique.
The second they get one...
That's a false premise.
Oh, I agree.
Like, totally. If you're going to be on TV, I should be allowed to say horrible things about you. No. If you're going to eat cheese, I can drive your car. No.
But I'm just saying there's critiquing what I do, and they're saying terrible, awful, foul things to me just to be a dick.
Yeah. And then there's also this one. Don't you want the feedback?
Yeah, right. Like it's feedback.
Don't you want to improve?
Like it's so constructive.
I mean, like if you want to see hate, check the Suicide Girls comics on Facebook. It's just like insane. It's
I can't imagine.
And it's like presumably these people follow Suicide Girls because like maybe they into
like
them,
boobs and butts.
But it's like that thing where it's like the psychology of it is that you want to feel superior to the thing that you love. So the way, and this actually sort of goes into sort of what Neil Strauss, because he was a music writer. He worked at Rolling Stone. You get that a lot with music writers. They want to be a musician and they can't, but they're a fan. So they'll write critiques. And then the way they feel superior to the people they want to be is that they'll go a bit overboard on the critique because that's the way that they feel important. And that's the way that they feel superior. Yeah. For a lot of the time, that's what Neil Strauss did at Rolling Stone. And he tells this story in an amazing book that he wrote. You know, he's like, yeah, I kind of was that person, but I did a review of Kenny G, and, you know, I was just like an asshole music critique. And then I met Kenny G, and I realized that Kenny G is a really nice guy that really cares about his shit. It might not be my cup of tea, but, you know, he put a lot of love and thought to that album, you know, and if I didn't like it, I shouldn't have written about it. I'm the asshole for just taking a few cheap shots at Kenny G to make me look good. When people are doing that shit online, like that's that everyone's a critic kind of thing where they're just trying to make them feel superior. So that's actually an expression of their own feelings of inferiority. Have sympathy for that. There's various stories of people that have actually sort of engaged their critics on the internet. And once you actually find there's a real person behind the face of Twitter or whatever, you can actually have really interesting conversations, like if you sort of engage the more intelligent ones. And it's kind of weird because I have this dichotomy now where like some of my really good friends online are extreme trolls.
What's the first step in taming the troll? Because I always think to myself, I'm going to be like the troll whisperer. I'm going to do it.
It's like I'm always interested in what makes people tick, and it's like what happened in your day, like what happened in those people's lives that they needed to operate a jackhammer on Twitter, that they needed to express themselves in that way.
Let's say you meet somebody on Tinder, I find the way that it's affect culture is I have women coming up to me on the street and just moving their thumb to the left to my face, and I don't even know what they're doing. I just want you to know. I'm not even on it. If you like, okay, I like you like me, you meet, then you go fool around. Does that make having a relationship then harder, or is it better? It's like, all right, the fucking's out of the way. Now let's just see if we actually get along. But a lot of men, I think, it's all about the pursuit. Once you've gotten it, it's like there's no more interest. But you don't want to be with that person anyway.
It's an instinctual couple seconds, I guess. Most people look at a picture and then just kind of swipe. But I feel like there is something to getting it out of the way.
Yeah.
But I wonder how many people then start dating. Probably doesn't last more than 3 weeks.
Not a lot of people.
Probably not more than 3 weeks. It might just be getting at it for like 3 weeks.
There are a lot of people on Tinder that want to find a relationship.
Who here is on Tinder to find a relationship?
Round of applause.
Who's here holding in a fart because they're on a date?
Janet.
But what's amazing is as your dad got older, and he would shit his pants and still blame your mom. Look what your mother did in my pants.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
By the way, you don't shit your pants, you shit your underwear.
Best case scenario.
Best case scenario.
I have a question for the audience / the panel. Because I read this, and this study is very gendered and heteronormative, and if you don't know what heteronormative means, it's because you are. But
I feel like we're at Sarah Lawrence right now.
Yeah. Good. It was about the priorities of, straight men and straight women, that they kind of flip as you become older. Like, younger men in their 20s want kind of no strings attached things. Then they get to their 30s, and it's like, maybe I do want to be in a relationship. Then they get to their 40s and like, I don't have a mom. And then they really want to get into a relationship. And then straight women have the opposite experience. In the 20s, they really want relationships. In the 30s, it's kind of the same. And in the 40s, like, fuck it. I'm in my 40s. I'm going to fuck.
It's
I think that's true.
I read a lot that people pursue fetishistic sex as a wall against intimacy. So the more a guy wants to tie you up, the less he wants any strings attached.
I do think I have a friend who
I thought that'd get a better response, actually.
That got about the response it deserved, I think.
It was as good a joke as 50 Shades of Grey was a book.
She doesn't care. She's just like getting at it all over New York City and doesn't care. And she wasn't
How
like
old
that.
is she?
She's 40.
Okay.
She can play 32.
Yeah.
It's not me.
It really is like she's fucking the entire Ages of Man poster.
Yeah. I have to say, like,
she's also fucking a baby and a corpse.
That baby's sexy though. Such nice skin like that. To wear sunscreen. I gotta say, Dana, I've often thought, as a female touring comic,
you must get so much pussy.
I get so much fucking raining pussy. As a female touring comic, you'll see, like, sometimes, like, the openers for me will get, like, during the course of the weekend, they will have slept with, like, 3 different women. And I think as a female, there is no equal equivalent of, like, oh, great, I went to, like, the Tampa Improv, and some dude in, like, Ed Hardy jeans ate me out. Like, there's no...
Oh, my God.
There's no good outcome.
I do know some people that have that story.
But it's never good news. It can't be like a guy that goes like the ha-ha chuckle hut in like Oklahoma and I fucked him in the bathroom. Like that can't be a good ending. Are they psyched about it?
I remember being on the
some of them.
I remember being on the road. Being on the road with somebody when we were all staying in a condo. We were staying in the same house. The first night, he was talking about how much he loved his wife. Brought home a woman that night and fucked her. And then I wouldn't have minded that because I was 26 at the time and I didn't care. Yeah. But when she left, he turned to me, grown man, and went, I was the bad boy.
Oh, my God.
Was it Charles Nelson Riley?
Yeah. Paul Lynde was leaving the house in shame.
The grossest thing...
I got some stanky on my hang down. Ho, ho.
When I check into comedy condos, the number of disgusting male comic buddies that text me that they've done it in that bed, I will spend the equivalent of my salary to even just put myself up in like a Holiday Inn to not sleep where every single one of my buddies is laid a comedy waitress.
It would be cleaner to curl up in Baron's Lake of Mold.
Baron's Lake of Mold on exit 28.
That would be better than going to a, like a steam room in Fire Island or on 1982 and just drinking a ladle full of hot tub water.
Oh, Jesus.
There's nothing good happening in a comedy condo.
Delicious.
If you took a Mike Tyson cum light to any comedy condo, it would look like Jackson Pollock's Id.
It's bad.
And I love the term Mike Tyson cum lights. Don't just buy any cum light.
Buy Mike Tyson cum lights.
Buy Mike Tyson cum light.
Look for the package with the doves.
The doves.
Loves those doves / pigeons.
Now in your freezer section. I don't know why. They're in your freezer section. Apparently hotel comforters are just spackled in jizz.
I know.
I know one in room 132 that is... It wasn't on Wednesday. But
are you painting an amoeba?
I'm making a little me on a comforter.
Wow, it's more of an uncomforter now. There you go.
Gotcha. Nothing but that.
Puns.
How did this become my job? My brother works at a bank.
I know. And you couldn't look more like Thelma Louie. You couldn't be like, hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Where were we? Come.
Oh, yeah, come. Steve Agee.
Remember those hot dogs that they sold with the melted cheese already inside them? And you'd bite into it and all the gooey white stuff would come out? What inspired that?
Or the Candy Gushers.
Yeah. What was the eureka moment for that one? I've got it! What makes you feel like you're at the baseball game, but is also really cummy?
Cummy.
There also is, like, when you're traveling on the road, I don't know if it's like 20s or 30s, there is a point at which men should stop trying to fuck everything they meet.
Oh, my God. The amount of wing-womaning, oh, my God. They're like, hang out with me. I hang out with them to make them look less fucking disgusting. And these poor girls, and I just want to be like, don't. You're not the only one that's like, oh, my God, I kind of find him cute. 14 girls have fucked this guy this weekend. Like, run, ladies, run. I have a buddy who did it with like a really big headliner.
Really big headliner?
In like the 90s. And in his hotel room, and he wouldn't come before the show because he wanted to preserve his chi. And then he would run around the hotel room pounding on his chest.
Do I know
Dana.
The last part, I was just playing Planet of the Apes.
I'll tell you who it was later.
I haven't had this experience.
Does his name rhyme with Plana Bluld? No. But what I was wondering is, since Tinder does ostensibly make getting laid so much easier, is that constant hunt mentality still prevalent, or is that taking it all away?
No, I have to say,
are hookers as afraid of Tinder as cabbies are afraid of Uber?
I like that you're asking me this.
Basically, they've tried to ban it in a couple different cities. Yeah, definitely.
No, I mean, honestly...
Hookers?
The Hookers Union, they got this.
There's no more Tinder.
I think a lot of for young comics, as when you tour and you get to a new city, so you'll have your openers and stuff. So the guys are coming up and they're featuring and they're, and maybe they didn't get laid in high school, but if they're funny and they're doing a good job, like they get hit on.
I've quoted them once before, so I'll end it on another quote from the great George Carlin. A woman who goes to a comedy show and fucks the comedian is like a woman that goes to an organ grinder fest and fucks the monkey. And that joke relies primarily on the existence of organ grinder fests.
But which monkey? Because Peter Tork is kind of cute.
I feel like Portland would have an organ grinder fest.
It's true. You have a vintage plumbing store. That's one thing that happens definitely as a guy that's bought 2 houses. The first thing we need older plumbing. We're going to get some... When it comes to moving my shit away from the house, well, the one thing I want, state of the art. Okay, I'm coming over, but he better be up and he better be horny. Consistent negativity and constant criticism of everything, especially from a comedic standpoint, I find profoundly lazy. It's really intellectually lazy. And as a way to live your life, I find the more I temper my knee-jerk negativity and try to go beyond it, that it makes me feel better, because I think that you think in language, and the less of that language you use, the less you are prone to think it. There are things that need to be critiqued. ISIS, the Entourage movie.
The top threats to our way of life.
Yeah.
Everything else
I actually
is
would
distant
say the
third.
Entourage movie, ISIS, the Entourage.
Sure.
But, if you want to critique ISIS, you also have to look at the fact that we kind of created them, that we...
And we created the Entourage movie.
This is true. Yay, go us. Which is worse? ISIS, the Entourage movie.
That's absolutely right. And, that there was an article in Newsweek, which is a magazine still, about the one-child policy in China, how they say, we are going to curb the population. And so every family was allowed one child, and boys were favored over girls. And now what you have in China is one girl for every 9 guys, and women basically run the country now. They can pick and choose who they want to be with, and they completely inverted their gender superiority index by this completely ill-conceived, clumsy, inhumane policy.
I'm so moving to China.
It's the no, you don't want to move to China. Trust me. We'll end it on this, because I have to put some Chinese people to bed.
Sounds like a euphemism, even though it's true.
I have to put some Chinese people.
A euphemism for what I don't know, but it does.
Oh, that's awesome. H.L. Mencken had one of my great quotes, and the ISIS is the great example of it. For every complex problem, there is a solution that is simple, easy, and wrong. That was what George Bush was all about. We're going to go in there, clean it up. Great. I go with my gut. Good. Show me a chess master who goes with his gut. Right. You know, your gut's not made to think. And the other one is your friend Stephen Patrick Morrissey.
Yes.
And I would say this, everyone, it's easy to laugh. It's easy to hate. It takes guts to be gentle and kind.
Yes.
Everybody.
That's one of my favorites from him. It's
beautiful.
Do it, faggots.
Barbecue, barbecue, barbecue. Our barbecue is prepared especially for you.
Other podcasts reach for the sky. Dana Gould. We barely try.
Visit us often and enjoy our screen attractions in the comfort of your own car.
This has been the Dana Gould Hour, brought to you by the Internet. Music by Andy Paley, with Jake Posner behind the board. Produced by Jeff Fox. Graphic design and web production by Spencer Hunt and Segan Friend. Sound editing and post-production by Jalinda Palmer and Joe Napolitano. Hey, if you like the show, why don't you drop us a line at show@danagould.com. Tom Kenny speaking.
We're about 6 weeks away from being dog people.